But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
With the rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, almost the direction. It was too fast to be okay.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please,
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0 1 1 0 1
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? This is the show where we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are. That's right. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. This show is live. We are streaming on Rockfin, DLive, YouTube, and Twitter, which used to be Periscope, and we are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And of course, we have an open phone line. We've got multiple open phone lines, and we've got a Discord. If you want to join the show at any point, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Yeah, there it is. I say I'm broadcasting from a bunker. Everybody says it. I'm the only one with receipts. You can see it right there on the stream itself. I'm in the bunker, and there's no denying it. There's literally no denying it. If you want to be part of the show, it's 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and we'll put you on the show. It's as simple as that. And you could also join the Discord. We've got a couple different Discord chat rooms going. Discord is a chat client. It's a voice client. It's what the youngsters use to play video games. And, of course, we actually use it to do a talk show because, well, we can be clever, too, us older types, us middle-ager types, us folks that know technology as well. We use it to do some other things, not just play video games. But Discord is amazing. It's one of those programs that if you haven't joined it yet, you haven't seen it yet, you're not familiar with it yet, we're not sponsored by them. It's just that fantastic of a program. Go to troubledminds.org and click the Discord link. There's usually discussion going on there, at least in chat form, almost 24 hours a day. And click the Discord link. It's right on top. And everything Troubled Minds, just go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. Phone numbers right there. We're streaming right on the website itself. again, if you're looking for anything to find us, that's the best place to go. And also join the Discord, because that's where all of the information comes from and goes to. So for the first announcements you're going to get from Troubled Minds will go straight to the Discord and Twitter, of course, but Twitter's a secondary thing. So anyway, and also we have another one. It's the same program. It's a different room. It's for Fringe FM. Go to fringe.fm/chat, and that will give you a direct link invite to the Fringe Discord. And yes, ENS Works, I see you there. You are in the correct chat. I'm trying to watch all the chats, guys. I have all those different chats I'm trying to watch. So we will. That's what we're doing. There you go. Just so you know. It is a lot of things going on. I try to do 10 things at once while we're doing this, and it's like I said, everything looks easier on TV. That's why on the stream here I have myself on television, because, well, everything looks easier on TV. All right, so that's what we're doing tonight, and we're talking about all those things now. Going through a bunch of stuff now, of course, as we go through news cycles and I kind of look at this stuff and see what's going on, we've got the weather is starting to cool off in some places. I'm sure the northeastern seaboard is kind of maybe chilling out just a little bit, and we're into autumn, we're into fall, and things are starting to seem a little Halloweenish, a little Halloweeny, if you know what I'm saying. And well, it kind of gets you thinking in terms of spooky things that go bump in the night. And so I try and pay attention to that as some of this information kind of comes out into the news cycles, and peel some of it out and talk about spooky things. But of course, we aren't quite there yet. We still have several weeks to Halloween, and we're not into that just yet. So I found something else that's a little bit different. And if you guys have not seen this, it's one of those things that's actually been happening for years now, literally years. And there's the depth of this conversation goes all over the place, as you guys know. We are sort of discussing this in terms of always open-ended, always where do you guys want to take this conversation? But there are some mysteries in the universe yet that people have yet to really put an answer to. And I think that's it's a good thing, right? It's good to have a little bit of mystery in the universe, and instead of living in that world where we have let's say no mysteries left. Can you imagine living in a universe where no mystery resides, and you're left there all by yourself with all the answers? Well, maybe not by yourself. Maybe there's others, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. And so, well, there is mystery that still exists. And this is from, actually, there's an individual by the name of Anton Petrov. All right. He's got a fantastic YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen his channel, I'm going to link it.
Our night skies change.
There he is. There he is with the autoplay, coming in with the autoplay. But okay, so I'm going to link the channel. It's in the notes already on YouTube, so you guys can see all my sources as always. But here's the individual's YouTube channel, okay? And here's the actual there it is. I'm putting in all the chats. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let me make sure I got all this working. Okay. All right, EN, there we go. S, there we go. All right. So now Anton actually did a video just yesterday. This was yesterday. But again, like I said, this has been ongoing for years. This has been one of those situations where it continues to baffle scientists, because it basically defies everything we know about the universe at large. And there's some theories here, of course. And what I'm talking about is, over 700 stars mysteriously vanished in the last 70 years. But why? And that's the name of Anton Petrov's video here, which again is fantastic stuff. I did link it. Please check this guy out. He's an actual astronomer, like actual academic astronomer, and he does all kinds of like space type stuff, right? Clearly like an astronomer might. That explains a lot of the more complicated things to laymen, regular folks like us. And notably and interestingly, this mystery with these stars disappearing from the night sky he doesn't have an answer for. He's got some theories, and he says that the academics really have no idea. But yes, this is happening. And so Robert actually described this earlier this summer. He called in. Robert, you know who you are out there over on Rockfin. Robert called in, and he was calling into the show and just discussing whatever the topic was for the evening. And he asked me, he said, Michael, do you notice when you look at the night sky, has the stars changed at all? And I hadn't really considered it, right? Because I do walk the dog at night, and so you kind of take for granted some of the things that maybe you look up for and see or don't see, and you kind of expect them to be there, even though they may or may not be. Okay, so this is the weirdness of all this. Is that after Robert mentioned that, did you notice that maybe the stars are different? Maybe that the stars in the sky are not there as they once were. And I thought, that's strange. And so the next time I went to take the dog for a walk, the next evening, actually it was that same evening, I looked up in the sky. And wouldn't you know it, it was a nice full moon, and I could see clearly there was no cloud cover. But it seemed to me that the stars were actually missing from the night sky. Not all of them. I could see 3 or 4 super bright ones. But like kind of in a star-filled sky, you sort of see this, you're able to see stars all over the damn place. I mean, I do live in Las Vegas, but it's not straight down like on the strip with like a bunch of lights and all that crazy stuff. It's, I live far away from the city, basically, as far away as you can get. And so, I don't know. It seems that Robert was correct. He was right. What's up, Flat Fellow? Thanks for shooting a hole in the things I'm promoting. I appreciate that quite a lot. But yeah, okay. So now the thing is this, right? So I was out looking at the stars, and they didn't seem to be there. And so Bill in the chat says they look closer to him. Well, I did notice that there was a whole bunch of not stars where there should have been stars. And I didn't, I'm not taking star maps and, taking pictures and comparing on a day-to-day basis. I'm not trying to make this a scientific experiment because there's other people that are actually doing that. But it got me wondering, okay, so what is going on with the stars? Could it be cloud cover? Could it be, who knows, right? Maybe the light from the full moon is kind of washing them out. All that other stuff, right? It's I don't know, like it kind of makes you think, okay? It makes you think. It makes you wonder about what's going on out there. And so, it actually brought to mind an article from the old days. And we're talking years in the making, this article and this conversation, because they've had their eyes on the sky for decades, trying to figure out what in the world is going on up there. Meaning, in particular, that in the 1950s they did a sky survey, multiple sky surveys, of course, because you're trying to image stars out there in the galaxy, in the universe, everywhere else, and you're trying to determine distance and all these other things, right? Just doing science, actually looking up at the sky and taking photographs and all the rest of that. All right, and that's what they were doing back in the 50s. They were sky imaging and getting actual sky maps of these particular stars. Well, fast forward 70 years later, and what's happening is we're missing probably in the range of 700 to 800 stars. Okay, now weirdness. Okay, not just we're missing these stars. Okay, not like Michael Strange took his dog for a walk and noticed there were no stars. Nothing like that. Okay, that's anecdotal. This, on the other hand, is science. They're actually able to pull up the old star maps from the 1950s and overlay them to what is happening now from brand new images, okay, in the last 10 years type of thing. And what are they noticing? Yeah, you bet. They're noticing that stars are missing. And so from all the old imaging, sky images they had back in the 1950s, they're actually noticing that even like less than 10% of it has actually been checked to the modern charts, but already with less than 10% of the sky double checked 70 years later, we're missing at least 700 stars. It's closer to 800 stars total. And so it makes you wonder, What on earth is going on out there? I think that's the weirdness of this, and that's why we get together and talk about these things, because, like I said, there still is mystery in this universe, and there still is a lot of crazy things happening out there that nobody really knows. And yeah, so I don't know. With this, again, it kind of makes my mind wander in many different directions, which is what we'll talk about tonight. But as always, I want to hear from you. The deal is this. I always say this, and this is the truth, right? I'm me, you're you, but together we're us. And the whole reason we do this show live is to include you and get your ideas on what you think is actually happening here. Now, right, it brings to mind some just throwing out some cursory ideas here. Well, it's a scientific thing. Maybe they're being covered up by some sort of interstellar cloud framework that we can't really recognize, okay? Sure, maybe. All right, maybe it's a natural thing. Sure, fine. Maybe they're talking about not supernovas, because if a star were to disappear in a supernova, it actually explodes, basically. And so it becomes, maybe factors of 10 times brighter than it was previously. And even in ancient astronomy, there are particular instances of supernova stars being cited by astronomers in like the 5th or 6th century, things like this. So when they happen, they're very, very obvious, okay? These supernovas, as it were. There's these other things called a nova star. And interestingly, this name keeps coming up, doesn't it? That one, probably the most famous nova star that we've spotted is actually goes by the name Algol, right? Algol. And I didn't actually determine that we were going to talk about that tonight, but it was odd that as I was just kind of looking into some of these things in what they might be, well, that star came up, and it's nicknamed the Demon Star, all right? Algol, Algol, and it's what's known as a nova, okay? It's not a supernova. Like I said, they explode at factors of 10 times brighter. They're very difficult to miss in the night sky. Even with the naked eye, you're able to see supernovas, okay? But now this Algol star, which is, again, weird that it kind of comes to this, because I hadn't even considered talking about this star tonight, the Demon Star, as it were. This is what's known as a nova. And what a nova star does is it actually fades in and out. And so, there are examples of this in astronomy, but not a ton of them. So, while Algol is known as the Demon Star, it fades in and out. It also is could not account for 700 stars missing, 700, 800 stars, with only less than 10% of these star maps actually checked for accuracy at this point. So, okay, so what's on my mind tonight? Again, right, the more you look into this, the more it kind of makes you, I don't know, uneasy. Like, what's actually happening out there? Like we talk about all over the map on the show. We've talked about the nature of reality. We've talked about what's happening in the cosmos. We've talked about, is it possible that we actually influence the cosmos with our own consciousness? All kinds of stuff like this. But just looking through a telescope, going back to the 1950s and comparing star maps to imaging that's happening today, we've lost, as in they are no longer there, not even visible in the slightest. They haven't dimmed, they have vanished. They are gone from the night sky. Almost 800 stars. So, what does that mean? Again, this video from Anton Petrov is very, very good stuff. If you guys are into the astronomy portion of this, I'm going to link this again, because this was the source tonight for the actual where the inspiration came from. Again, like I said, we've been talking about this kind of on and off on the news show. We do a news show, by the way, on Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on Twitch. And we've talked about these articles if they popped up, okay? And it seems to be more. First it was, many stars are missing. Then it was 100 stars are missing. And now as this, there's a thing called VASCO, which we'll get to a little bit tonight, which is covered much better in that article, the video that I just linked, the Anton Petrov YouTube channel from the actual astronomer. He kind of details some of the things that this could be, whatever's happening in the night sky, okay? But what's actually happening here? It can't simply be interstellar dust making stars disappear, like literally vanish. And we'll pull up some examples and look at this stuff and find out what's going on. But I don't know. It does make me wonder what's happening out there, and is it something a little more, I don't know, how would you describe it? a little more, let's call it mysterious. Let's call it mysterious. I don't want to call it sinister just yet. We'll let the jury decide here, which of course is you guys. But I don't know. I don't know what this means, but it is disturbing a little bit. What's up, Robert? On Rockfin says, I haven't seen the Big and Little Dipper all summer. See, something's happening out there. And so, again, anecdotally, sure, you can say that. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Robert's out there making sky maps every night trying to find out where each individual star went. But there are actual stars out there that have gone missing, scientifically proven. Well, missing? Or what's happening? So I don't know. What are your ideas on this? What are your thoughts? I've got some ideas and some of the stuff we can talk about. But yes, there you go. Carry Out says it. Marvel's Galactus. We'll get to Galactus tonight too. But what's actually happening out there? Again, right? Less than 10% of the sky surveyed and matched from these star surveys of the 1950s. And modern imaging not only suggests, but says without a doubt, we are missing up to 800 stars in the night sky. And that's not even doing the whole night sky. What is going on? So what are your thoughts on this? If you want to be part of the show, as always, love to hear from you. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord at troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, get in here, and we'll put you on the show. Now, the thing is this, too, is it kind of makes me wonder about lots of stuff in there, like Marvel's Galactus. What about Ouroboros, about the serpent eating its own tail, right? This type of thing, or even let's say, I don't know, maybe some Lovecraftian old ones out there in the dark of night, working their magic and maybe devouring stars, as it were. I have no idea, and so as science really has no idea, just some sort of cursory thoughts on why this may be happening. What are your ideas? Because of course, right, it seems like if we put our minds together, we can accomplish anything. You ever heard this before? And it seems like that a lot of the greatest ideas come from you guys. What's up, Daryl says witchcraft. Ooh, maybe. I like that one. What's up, Ronald and Adonna? How you guys doing? I see there. Witchcraft, is it? Okay, so what's happening in the cosmos? That's the question that's on my mind tonight. And I'd love to hear from you. And what is this all about? Again, scientifically, like I said, this is irrefutable. If you match up star charts from the 1950s to modern star charts now, we're missing stars. There's no bones about it. It is what it is. But what does it mean? Again, is it actual witchcraft, as Daryl has suggested? Is it, as somebody else suggested in the chat there, Marvel's Galactus, as Carry Out mentioned in the chat? Is something going on here? And what actually is happening? Oh, Lily says, stars are angels given their post in heaven. If they are moved, then they have left. Oh boy. And if we're going to get actual religious with this tonight, think about that in terms of who will watch the watchers, right? Well, if the watchers are in the night sky and they happen to be angels and they disappear, are they leaving their posts for a particular reason? I'm not a doomsday prophesizer, anything like that, but who knows? Love to hear your thoughts on all this stuff. And that's what we're talking about tonight, and that's what we're doing here. Cosmic says, what's up, Cosmic Blue says, extremely large planets blocking the view. But it stands to reason that, like I said, I'm open to some prosaic ideas for this as well, of course. But if that's the case, you would have to be able to see the planet, right? You would have to be able to see the planet blocking the way, or maybe the gas, whatever's blocking this. But again, right, 700, almost 800 in the night sky have gone missing. So that's what's on my mind tonight. What do you think this is all about? And like I said, there is absolutely zero doubt that this is happening. This is one of those things that is a mystery. And as I described, I think it's okay. It's okay to have mysteries. And well, this is a hell of a mystery, that's for sure. We're talking about the stars that have vanished from the sky maps, the star maps of the 1950s. And what does this mean? Is it something more sinister, more dire, or do you think it's something more prosaic, like, well, maybe an interstellar litter of cosmic gas that's blocking them out? I don't know. Love to hear your thoughts on this. It could be a number of things. If you want to be part of the show, I'm Michael Strange. This is Troubled Minds, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. More Missing Stars, Troubled Minds, and you after the break. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, DLive, YouTube, and Periscope, and we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. Tonight, we have the curious case of nearly 800 missing stars from a sky survey in the 1950s. What do you think is going on out there? Something prosaic, something biblical, something in between, something from a Marvel comic. You tell me. Love to hear your thoughts on this. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and we'll put you on the show. Let's go to Joe in Florida. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. You scared me for a sec there, the delay. Yeah, you're good. You're good. How are you, my friend? Go right ahead.
Not too bad, but, it's funny because Robert did mention that a couple of months ago. And I'm like, man, when I go outside and I walk the dogs too, and I'm down here in Florida, and during the summertime, because there's more moisture in the air, you see less stars. But like you guys just said, honestly, I have not seen the Big Dipper, and I have not seen Orion. Which is kind of curious because, like, years ago, if I was out back sitting in the hot tub or something, your eyes get adjusted. You'd be able to see the stars. I got a nice pair of binoculars. You could stargaze, But, when I go outside, and I was outside tonight talking to my neighbor for quite a while, even with the street light out there, I was out there for 45 minutes. You would have think I would have seen more than 4 or 5 stars out there. It almost does look empty. And the ones that you see are planets, Jupiter or Saturn. But it's a great topic. The things that come to mind are either the intensity of the sun has gone up, and that could account for heating, global warming, whatever you believe in. But if the brightness or the intensity went up in general, and we were never told and never knew about it, it could block out things that we would see, but the planets that are in our solar system might reflect brighter. Dust clouds, yeah, it's great. And for those of us that are spiritual, if we're looking up, those of us that are looking up, quite literally symbolism, those of us that are looking up, maybe that's a message that something is happening. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Maybe those things missing are a signal for those of us that can notice it, that notice those subtleties in nature, those things that are happening, that most of us keep our head down in our cell phones and don't notice.
Interesting. Is that maybe that's part of the plan, right? Maybe part of the deception ritual is us staring down into the black scrying mirrors as the heavens above changes literally before our eyes if we only had the sense to look up.
They talk about the disconnect. They talk about, being tricked from the source. They talk about, our souls being stolen by some kind of machine god or whatever you want to call it. But unplugging the source, or getting back to the source, maybe the computing power of the matrix is needed somewhere else. Who knows? Or every time CERN gets fired up, something happens.
Hey,
if there were supernovas or things blowing up, we would still see that energy. We would still see those lights, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what else could it be? Could it be a black hole that?
Yeah, so there's a few examples from from Anton that suggested one, it could be a black hole, kind of a stealth gobbling these things up that we don't notice. It could be maybe some huge interstellar cloud of gas. It could be that these are actual not supernovas but nova stars, which are kind of fade in and out, and they're not really of supernova stature. Or they could be supernovas that we possibly missed. But it seems that any of those explanations in particular are all unlikely, because we're not talking about a few stars. We're talking about almost 800 of them now. So it kind of makes you wonder what actually is going on. I'm going to point this out. Lily said this, and also ENS Works in the Fringe Discord said, angels are dying, if I was to be spiritual about it, and maybe losing the fight in good and evil. I don't know. What do you think about that?
There's got to be balance. I mean, they talk about dark matter. If dark matter is literally a shadow, and we're starting to find dark matter or evidence of it, maybe that accounts for that. One man's angel could be somebody else's light. One man's demon could be somebody else's shadow. However the terminology is, whether you want to believe it in the Bible as a literal being or energy, we know that these things have to balance out. It can't be created or destroyed.
Yeah,
maybe it changes into something else. But it's the scope of it would be immense if it was angels dying. But I can believe that as a reference to dark energy sucking things out, if I viewed it that way, than literal. But it's the same thing. It's the same result. We have less in the sky.
Exactly. And like I said, this isn't an anecdotal.
But anyway,
thing
those are my thoughts. There's other people.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, Joe. If you had to pin it down,
I'll let you go. I have a bad connection. So.
All right, bro. We'll talk to you later. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate the call. That's Joe in Florida. Bad connection. Yeah. I hope that's not me. Let's go to, looks like we've got, who is this? This looks like, all right. So 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And we're talking about the stars vanishing from the night sky. Over the last 70 years, we're missing almost 800 stars, confirmed by science through star imaging maps. Let's go to Derek in Massachusetts, the Night Stalker. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you tonight?
What's going on, Mike? Great show tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it. What are your thoughts on this? I'm sure you got some wild ones, eh?
Yeah. I took some notes, but we kind of mentioned it in the chat a little bit. It could be like some kind of, like you mentioned it with the Lovecraftian old ones. That's exactly where my mind went. Some kind of like giant devourer of suns. You know what I mean? Some kind of Galactus' like older brother. Something like even on another level. That's just like going around just sucking up star after star. But there was a news link recently from Newsweek, but I think it went around, got aggregated a lot. But I'm getting a little bit of echo, so I'm not sure if you can hear that. But saying that astronomers detect a mysterious 500 light-year wide void in space. It's absolutely shocking, quotes. So essentially, like, they were looking at these like dust clouds, and they realized like inside these huge dust clouds, there's a giant like cosmic void. So, and apparently this is like old. Like they're assuming that it formed when some kind of supernova happened like millions of years ago. But it makes me wonder, like, is there some kind of like primordial void out there in the universe, like some kind of cosmic darkness, some kind of like dark multiverse that's like seeping through or like sucking out something from our dimension? I mean, it could work either way. It could be pulling stuff out into somewhere else, or like bleeding through.
Okay, I'm with you. So I did notice that article about the huge kind of void in space where they again, you don't expect this. You expect galaxies. You expect at least huge, light years long sort of gas trails. All kinds of things should be out there, but that huge void in space could be, I don't know, what is that thing? What is that thing? is it that my favorite idea here, and you're probably with me. Go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine. You're loud and clear.
I just don't want it to...
Yeah, you're good. I know you have a weird echo.
Okay.
I'm trying to fix that as we go. But yeah, sorry about that. Go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no, just as long as it sounds good for everyone else, is fine. But yeah, a couple of quick thoughts, and I'll take off. But yeah, so then like the idea of some kind of primordial monster, some kind like, because there's been all kinds of like stories you covered on the news site of like on the news show of like tendrils, like these giant cosmic tendrils and these weird like Milky Way arms, like galaxy arms and stuff, and it almost seems like some kind of like Lovecraftian Old One type thing, some kind of like Jack Kirby style celestial or some kind of like cosmic being is deciding to like wake up from its slumber, and decide to like, I don't know, start to eat up the universe. But like in the chat, I think it was Carry Out. He was talking about how stars are blinking out when Hollywood is sending stars into space or whatever. He mentioned Hollywood. It made me think of like, that is true. Some kind of, what if like the elites are aware of this, like what's happening to the stars? The stars are blinking out, so they're sending stars up into space. Because William Shatner just announced he's going up into space at 90, which is another weird 9 space thing. And then Russia just announced that they're going to space next month to try to like film a movie in space to try to beat Tom Cruise to space because he's trying to get up there too. So it's weird, some kind of weird. And that's on top of like all the celebrity billionaires and stuff that have been flying up there and everything. So it's kind of like a weird ritualistic, synchromistic type thing, And then Joe mentioned it with the idea of like, what if the simulation is breaking down somehow? Like, what if the Matrix is, what if all these rituals are doing, or some kind of like beyond, some kind of on a cosmic scale is happening and everything's kind of blinking out, And this is just, we're noticing it as like stars randomly, like, or not randomly, but like large. It doesn't seem to be like, they're not all in one area, right? It's just throughout the night sky. So I don't know, something like, from our perspective, it seems completely random, but it's almost like, I don't know, like the lights in the Christmas tree are kind of blinking out, It's weird. But this call's behind me, so I'll let you go. But really, really cool stuff, Mike.
Appreciate it, man. Great stuff as always. Derek in Massachusetts, thank you for the call. Good stuff. Thanks for listening. All right, the thing is this, right? Always great stuff from Night Stalker there. Now, I don't know. Is this some sort of primordial thing that's maybe devouring stars, and we're trying to figure out what's going on here? I think we're playing catch up, right? Of course, as usual, scientifically, we're playing catch up with the universe because I think that's just the way the world works. Humans don't know everything, and amazing thoughts so far. What is going on out there? And yeah, so for sure, here we go. Now, this is an old article. Now, if you look at some of this goes back years. I could find this as far back as about 2014. I think is when they started noticing this, at least in mass. But this is from CNET.com, and missing stars could point to alien civilizations, scientists say. And that, sorry about the weird echo, guys. I'm, like I said, just getting back, and yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're good. You're good, man. When you hear yourself back in the chat there, it definitely messes with your head. But okay, so back to this. Looking to hear from you guys. What do you think about this? 702-957-1037. Phone number's up on the stream. But okay, missing stars could point to alien civilizations. I find it funny that we've progressed past alien civilizations so far on this show that it hasn't even come up tonight yet. Nobody's like, oh yeah, the aliens are doing it, right? Well, it's it's biblical. It's this, it's that. It could be primordial old ones. But very simply put, astronomers compare old views of the sky with what we see today and find that at least 100 stars appear to have vanished or were perhaps covered up. And so they're talking about Dyson spheres, right? These alien civilizations that are using the, as it were, these suns, their own suns to power whatever it is they're using, right? Whether it's craft or the type 2 civilization, as it were. So the type 1 civilization, on the Kardashev scale, would be a civilization that can harness the entire power of their planet. A type 2 would be a civilization that could harness the entire literally entirety of their own solar system. So if that's the case, maybe there's something out there, maybe aliens sucking these suns dry, completely just emptying them out. To what end, though? Weird. Like I said, that we don't even talk about aliens. We're just skipping to the good stuff. We're like angels in the sky. We're like primordial old ones. Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think? This is a legit thing. And like I said, I could find the earliest mention of this in news stories about 2014. And so again, but this goes back to the 1950s and the star surveys where they're missing stars in the sky. So that's what we're talking about tonight. 702-957-1037. Let's go to Mike in Colorado. Let's see. Let's do it. Push the button. Mike, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. I want to check first. Is this phone connection okay? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Okay, loud and clear. So as we kind of navigate this weird reality we're in, and all of a sudden we've got 800, which would be 10%, so 8,000 missing stars in the sky.
Exactly.
I wonder if we're not on a different timeline than people think about the Bible. They always think we're in the end times, and they always think all this stuff's happening. I wonder if we're not way past that, and we're actually in what they call the little season in Revelation chapter 20, paragraph 3.
Okay. For dummies like me, can you explain what that means?
Well, sure. So after Jesus came to earth, according to the Bible, he had his 1,000-year reign, which is probably 1,000 years missing in the scientific timeline. Might also explain the ancient architecture, free energy, mud flood, Tartaria, orphan trains, might all be wrapped up into that. And at the end of the whole thing, in the Bible it says God loosed the devil for a little season. And it doesn't say how long, and it doesn't say what's going on, but after that, he pretty much shuts everything down. Just like, time done, it's over, it's done. And so stars missing from the sky, that might be the first dismantling of this entire reality.
Interesting. So the little season would be the devil run amok, as it were, and maybe changing reality as we know it. I like it, man. Does it elaborate? Are you? I'm
yes,
not sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. So what does it say, biblically speaking? Where does it go from there? Is this dire for us if that's the case?
The sad part is it doesn't.
Okay.
And I have searched extra biblical texts. I found one person who wrote on it in 1923 and wrote pretty extensively about his view of the little season, but oh my gosh, there's so little on it that it makes me think that's probably what's right in front of us.
Interesting. And oddly enough, right, the same thing with the stars here is not many people are talking about this. And this seems to be probably one of the most startling scientific discoveries of our time because it literally upends everything we think we know about the cosmos, right? Stars don't just disappear.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, this is a huge thing. I had no idea until tonight, which is why I always try to support your broadcast. You're such a good broadcaster, and you bring information that nobody else is talking about. How is this not on every news channel? It's like, look, guys, there's stars missing from the sky. Something really serious is going on. Let's pay attention to this and figure it out. And nobody's talking about it. So, yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, weird, right? Imagine if this was all over the mainstream media. Everybody would be freaking out. It'd be like end times type talk at like every lunch table across the country, across the world, right? That explains why it's not up there.
Very interesting. So thank you so much for the show. I'm interested to hear what other people have to say.
Appreciate the phone call, my friend. Thank you. With Mike in Colorado. Everybody, please follow Algorithm on YouTube. That's thank you. You too, my man. That's Mike in Colorado. Again, Algo, just like it sounds, ALGO space rhythm, just like dancing to the rhythm. Algorithm, he's got a YouTube channel, does fine work over there as well, talking about all kinds of stuff. And this is what we're doing tonight. We're discussing, that's right, he had it right, and I did the rough math. If we're talking about less than 10% of the sky survey has been verified from the 1950s, well, guess what? Almost 800 stars are gone. Literally just gone. Not faded, not supernovaed out, none of this. Just not there anymore, okay? Now, he had it right. If you take a multiple of 10, that means probably, right, because 10%, we're talking about 800 stars. That means there's 8,000 stars probably missing in the night sky, assuming, right, that it's a nice even distribution throughout the star charts of the entire visible universe to us here on Earth. That's the weird part about this. I don't know. Like, you think about in terms of, what's the end of the world type stuff. I don't even have to say it, do I? Like, you turn on the TV and they're always telling you stuff that isn't the end of the world is like, oh crap, this is the end of the world, right? It's like some jerk over here did this and it's the end of the world, right? It's like fear, 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 be afraid, be afraid. Well, here we are. We have a situation where thousands, probably thousands, once all of this is verified, and there's actually a citizen astronomy project you can actually help verify these stars with if you want to help out this project. The information is in that video. I'll link the information as well. It's called VASCO, VASCO. And so AI has gone through and kind of cited some instances where they want to know if the star has actually disappeared. And so you get this nice little kind of like a video game where you pull it up on your screen and you try and match up the star charts from the 50s to the current ones of today. And so they're kind of using just crowdsourcing people like you and me to look at maybe some differences in the sky and cite where stars have gone missing. So this is a huge project. It's not, again, think about how many stars are just out there in the night sky. You can't just snap your fingers and verify all this, because we're talking about, what, not tens of thousands, we're talking about millions of stars. So that's the scary part here, is that as this goes, is it going to accelerate? Is this happening? In 70 years, we're talking about 800 confirmed stars just about, and 10% of the night sky. So does that mean there's more like 8,000 missing stars? Yeah. Again, check out all the articles. I got them all linked down below. There's a lot of really terrifying stuff happening out there. And again, if this is as big as it sounds, well, we don't know a damn thing about the universe, do we? And that's what makes me wonder here. That's what makes me rub my chin and go, I wonder. Good stuff. Again, follow Algorithm on YouTube. I appreciate the call, my friend. All right, so as we wind down, get to the top of the hour here, I don't know. I don't. My favorite theory, of course, is like Derek was saying, like some sort of primordial Lovecraftian old one that's maybe just gobbling its way through the through the cosmos, eating up stars or things like this. Again, it can't be just a regular nova because those fade in and out. We're not talking about faded stars. We're talking about them not there at all. Actually, let me pull up an image for those of you watching on the here we go, for those of you watching actually on the stream, and you can see right there, I'll put it full screen, and this is what I'm talking about. Look at that star right there. Here's an example of exactly what's happening. The exact sky star chart, everything is exactly where it should be, except right in the middle, bink, a star is missing. Star's just gone. Didn't go supernova, isn't flashing, isn't faded out, is just literally gone. What the hell is going on out in the night sky? Yeah, makes me wonder. Hopefully it makes you wonder as well. And so we're still talking about that tonight. And again, are there biblical implications here? Are these angels that were on post and are losing? I think that's part of the equation, part of the question. And I do like the little season brought up by Mike there. I'd never heard of that myself. Fantastic stuff as always from everybody. Great calls tonight. And we're going to keep on trucking. We're going to keep on talking about this and doing our thing. And you know what that is. That means I'm Michael Strange. This is Troubled Minds. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can go to troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, and join us that way, and we'll put you on the show. Looking to hear from you. What do you believe is going on in the night sky when we're missing approximately 800 stars now, with 10% of the sky surveyed? Right? What the hell does this even mean? And if you extrapolate that out to 100% of the visible sky, that's 8,000 stars missing. What's going on? You tell me. Love to hear from you. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds, more missing stars, and you. After the break. Be right back.
through your eyes, and they're accessing your optic nerve. I'm doing that. Through that optic nerve, they're transferring to your brain. People are random images as they traverse neurons in the brain.
All right, so maybe,
and they also feel them planting.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
all right. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. This show's live. We're taking your phone calls at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037 at troubledminds.org. You can find the Discord link and the phone number. And what is this show all about? Yeah, that's right. You know, it's all the things we're not allowed to talk about. Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We are streaming live on DLive, Rockfin, YouTube, and Periscope. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And tonight, we're talking about the missing stars. Have you heard about the missing stars? Yeah, well, it's a conundrum. It is a mystery in cosmology, in what would you call it? Astronomy. In, well, what's going on in the night skies? And, of course, you know, like Mike in Algorithm, Mike in Colorado, when he called, he stated, how come this isn't on every news channel out there? Like, we literally have hundreds of missing stars from the sky that were there in the 1950s. But now, of course, we have better imaging equipment, so you would expect, instead of missing stars, we would be finding stars that maybe we missed in the 50s, right? But it seems to be the opposite. It seems to be the opposite. And so that's the thing. If this turns into a situation where, you know, people, as the song goes, maybe begin losing their religion, maybe that's why or where they're not describing this on the news. Because, of course, you know, there have been lots of great calls tonight considering maybe biblical implications of angels are these stars that have gone missing in the battle for good and evil, or is it possible indeed that we have some sort of interstellar giant primordial monster just gobbling up stars kind of willy-nilly, or again very much like Galactus from the Marvel comics, like the Planet Eater, something like this, or again, right, I'm throwing out all kinds of crazy sounding stuff, but you got to understand that, sure, fine, this could be a normal situation that we just have never considered or seen, and it's really becoming a thing now, because as they do these surveys of the night sky, it is turning upside down the world we live in, meaning that we don't know a damn thing about the night sky, do we? Yeah, it is. It seems like that was the phone line taking a crap, so it does seem like, guys, maybe my phone line is having a huge problem tonight, so I'm going to dial back here and get back on this, and there you go. Anyway, so that's what's happening. The phone line is having problems. Thanks, Google Voice. It can do a hell of a lot, Google, by the way, making sure that it's keeping an eye on us and, you know, all that other stuff, but try and twist their arm for a nice, reliable phone line, and, well, yeah, you don't get jack, do you? You get spotty service. Thanks, Google. You're the best. But okay, so that's what's on my mind tonight. And interesting. Now, here's the craziest part, right? It gets better. So the missing stars, this is from, again, CNET. And like I said, we've been tracking this story for years now, literally years. As far as I could tell, it goes back to about probably 2014. There may be references to this prior to that, but about 2014, these articles started happening. And back then it was like, dozens of stars missing from the night sky. All right, and as we continue, they continue this Vasco project, which I'm going to pull up here and I'll share with you guys, is that we are finding more and more of these things. Like I said, so you have better imaging equipment now to image the night sky. All right. Then we also have, you would expect, like I said, to find more stars, but we're finding more and more missing. And here it is. This is called the Vasco Project, okay? And it uses modern existing all-sky surveys like the Gaia Sloan Digital Sky Survey and the United States Naval Observatory database for this project, in combination with the most state-of-the-art statistical techniques used within astronomy and developed for the purpose to extract the best possible vanishing star candidates for Vasco. And so here we go. I'm going to link this if you guys want to be part of this. It's literally like a video game. You download this and you end up kind of matching some of these stars to what AI has picked out as possible missing from the night sky. Okay, and here you go. I'm linking this. I highly encourage you guys to check it out. It looks pretty cool and seems fun. If you want to help do science from your computer or your iPad or whatever is going on, you're able to do it right here. Simple as that. So I don't know. I think the weirdness with this is that. Now we haven't even talked about aliens yet tonight, and that's the oddness. Okay, that's the weirdness of this entire thing. So, as somebody suggested in the chat during the break, is okay. So if we have, people have suggested in the past that maybe there are ships using the plasma from the sun to draw maybe portals or warp gates or things like this. And if that's what's happening, right? We've discussed like an immense amount of energy is necessary for advanced propulsion in these terms. And so doesn't it stand to reason that maybe if you are able to take fuel from the sun, from the plasma directly and turn that into some sort of fuel, that maybe that's what's going on here. And of course, if you're using enough of this to maybe just black out a star, maybe that explains all the UFOs flying around, right? And this article here, the CNET article, describes possibly Dyson spheres and things like this, but what if it's more than that? What if it's using distant stars for actual warp? Yeah, see, my internet is just taking a dump tonight. What is going on? Testing 1 2. Anybody out there? All right, let's make sure. Jeez. I can't believe the phone line just keeps dying here. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna get this back and. All right. So if you want to be part of the show, we are taking your phone calls, 702-957-1037, and you could join the Discord at troubledminds.org and get in here and we'll put you on the show. That's probably the best way to do it at this point because we're having problems. We're having problems here. Let's see. What else do we got? Let's see. What's going on? How you doing? No, it looks like there's chats all over the place, man. We're talking to ENS in the Discord there. There's again, I'm watching like 5 different chats, so that's what I'm trying to keep up with. But okay, so this again, right? So this goes back to Dyson spheres, where we're talking about Type 2 Kardashev civilizations on the Kardashev scale, where maybe they're actually drawing power from these stars and maybe shutting them down. Once you draw enough plasma from a star, it just shuts down. Maybe that's a theory here. Maybe again, right? Maybe there's some sort of cosmic gas. Again, it's been confirmed in some cases that there's like these cosmic gas trails that go light years long. So maybe something is passing in front of these particular stars. I don't know. Like that's the type of stuff here that we're trying to consider and figure out, because science has some guesses, like we described. Yeah, and we're right. I mean, this conspiracy show, for crying out loud. So we're not trying to do trying to do scientific work here. We're kind of throwing out some theories and considering what in the world's going on. So that's what's up. That's what we're doing tonight. And if you want to be part of the show, what is happening with the missing stars? Some have suggested there are angels missing from the night sky. Al Gore called and said it's possibly the what is it? Was it the little season? Maybe when the devil is left to run amok for a time, and maybe bringing out angels from the night sky. I don't know. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm thinking about. And you guys tell me one more time. 702-957-1037. Let's go to Daryl in New York, as long as the phone number holds up. Welcome to the show, Daryl. How are you, my friend? Test 1 2.
Hi, Michael. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Oh, okay. All right, I had a few ideas about this. Some were kind of silly, and some are kind of deep. like maybe they're not stars, and we've misjudged them all this time. We've been misdiagnosing what we're looking at. That's a possibility. Then there's like some kind of technology that's like antimatter. Have you heard of that? That's kind of scary stuff, though. That maybe we're experimenting with some stuff that we shouldn't be, like microwave weapons and antimatter things that we shouldn't be messing with, and maybe there's some sort of scary experiments that we shouldn't be doing. But then I was thinking, maybe the sky is a reflection of our consciousness, and what we do here is reflecting on what we're looking at above. Like, you know, maybe they're censoring the stars, you know, because we're censoring our freedom of speech. And we're thinking about our censorship. It is reflecting in the sky. And maybe we have to change some things here so that the stars can come back. I don't know. That was a thought. And then they also spoke about a solar minimum. Maybe we don't understand what a solar minimum is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it stands to reason.
Are you still hearing me?
Yeah, loud and clear, loud and clear. I'm sorry. It sounds like we're on a little bit of a delay because our Google Voice is really messing with us tonight.
Okay.
So I apologize for the delay. So yes, go right ahead, because if I cut you off, and
no problem.
It's better to let you go, so I don't make you that weird delay in the conversation. Go right ahead. I'll address all your stuff after you get off the phone. Okay. Good stuff so far. Thank you, Daryl.
Okay. So I was thinking about, so, again, like the sky's reflecting our consciousness, and we're thinking these things away or in. And then I was thinking about the Milky Way. Maybe the Milky Way, it's pretty literal, you know. Maybe they had a spill, like a spilled Milky Way. And what was the other thought I had? Oh, a virus. Now we have a virus, supposedly. Maybe we have a solar virus. It's something that's affecting the stars only. It's possible. Or it's another reflection of what's occurring on Earth. So above is below, something like that. And it's just a matter of our thoughts.
Good stuff. Holy smokes. I love it. I'm gonna run with this one for a little bit. So imagine, we've talked about just in the very last show we did on was it Wednesday night last week, we talked about maybe the universe is ours, meaning that we're able to, with our consciousness, be able to demand things from the universe, and that maybe consciousness is what holds all of the micro and the macro, and as you stated, as above so below, holds the entire thing together. Okay, now if that's the case, I like where your head's at here, right? Meaning that if you think in terms of maybe those stars are us, and maybe we are heading in a bad direction here, and so those stars are dimming, those stars are disappearing and vanishing from the night sky, and those stars are a reflection of our souls, of our consciousness, as they reflect back from the universe. I love that. That is fantastic, Daryl.
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah, and then
I think it's the troubled mind's consciousness that can maybe cure all of this syndrome.
I love it. Well, I mean, what did we say? The only thing that's ever changed the world was a small, committed group of people, right? That was, who was it, Margaret Mead that said that?
Exactly. Only 1%.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're going to keep on doing it. Anything else here? Any other ideas on this? Do you think, I don't know if you're religious or not, but what about the thought about angels, and maybe they're disappearing from the night sky as they watch over us?
Well, I think we are the angels, if anything. I'm not exactly religious, so I wouldn't be the expert on that one. But as far as the spiritual source, I think we might have a bigger impact than we think on what's occurring around us.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that we probably get a little more. We should get a little more credit than we're given for considering the night sky, for considering the universe. For everybody talks about being green globally and environmentally and all the rest of this, but what about caring about the universe around us? I think we're not the only game in town,
exactly.
Are we? There's a larger something at work here. You're amazing, Daryl. Thank you so much for the call. Anything else while we got you on tonight?
No, I'm good with that. Thank you for thinking of all these awesome thoughts, giving us a lot of good food for fodder, so to say.
Pleasure's mine. Pleasure's mine. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
It's all you. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Daryl. Have a good night. Sorry about that delay, guys. We got a little bit of a delay on the telephone, so bear with that for a little bit. So if you call in, just I'll say hi. Say who you are, and you just go right to it, because if we have a back and forth, there's a weird delay. So we are talking about the missing stars from the sky. At this point, they've discovered around 800, just less than 800, and they've only done less than 10% of a sky survey. So if you do the math, that means there's approximately 8,000 stars missing since 1950. All right, and with better technology, you'd expect us to find more. We're not. We're losing stars. It's ridiculous. If you want to be part of this conversation, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Let's go to Jennifer in Missouri. Welcome to the show, Jennifer. How are you tonight?
Doing okay. Yeah, it's a little breaky on my end. I don't know if there's going to be a delay or not. Maybe that's kind of funny because of the topic we're talking about.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Go right ahead. We are having a little bit of problems, but you're coming through loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, so obviously none of us have any idea, but we're kind of just throwing ideas out there. I mean, because one thing we can all for sure agree on is stars, for no reason whatsoever, should be moving around or disappearing. So, I mean, if you think about the creation, if you go back, like we were talking about biblical, making reference to that, in the creation story, the stars are set in their place, and we use them, the sun, the moon, the stars, the constellations are all set in their place, and they move in an unchanging fashion for us to be able to tell time and for being able to map out our own land, people for traveling, things like that, and telling the seasons and so much more, And there's some references in the Bible talking about like how the Israelites weren't supposed to be worshiping the sun or the moon or the stars, even though they were that it was okay for mankind to do so. So there's some contradictory things. There always is in the Bible. What made me think about this was if you think about the fact that the sun and the moon and the stars have been there for probably, forever. And so people, if they were a type of consciousness, if the sun has a consciousness, if the moon has a consciousness, and if even the stars themselves have a consciousness, they may begin to think of themselves as gods themselves. And you have that concept because the story of the fallen angels, is a strange concept. And then it's also talking about the angels who left their first estate. And that's kind of a bizarre concept. If they are stars, or they're represented and they're in the heavens, which is what it's called, the heavens. And so if the stars themselves were perhaps angels, which is kind of a creepy concept if you put it all together, because of the fallen angels coming down, from heaven as a consciousness, for whatever reason. But stars have never left their post except to do bad things. Like you have the account of wormwood in the Bible, where it's a star, wormwood's a star that comes down and it bitters all the water, and kills off a whole bunch of people. Then you have this case with the Cthulhu mythos, like you were mentioning earlier about the Algo star, that's an evil star. So there are accounts, and then I think in Japan they have something like a kami star, Kami, I think, but I'm not sure. But I've heard different things about this concept. And so if a star decides to not be where it's at, it could be that somebody mentioned the nothing. That's an interesting idea too. But if they're moving, they wouldn't be where they were. Perhaps they're coming towards us. Perhaps they're not where they are because they're on the move. But anyway,
it is
that's
perplexing.
Not all I've got. If people are actually, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go right ahead. Like I said, weird delay.
Okay. Yeah, there is a delay. I'm sorry. Just that they possibly have some kind of consciousness. Maybe they are on the move. the concept of them being angels or being evil, if angels are actually some type of alien, because they are in the heavens and stuff. So perhaps these are some more fallen angels or angels that have defied God by leaving their post with the intention of coming down and getting their due as being gods rather than, Anyway, okay, I guess I'll let you go.
I appreciate the call. Sorry for the delay. I appreciate you guys hanging in with us tonight. Great stuff as always, Jennifer. Have a great night. Thank you for listening. All right, so there we go. Sorry about that. Phone lines, I don't know what's going on, but it is a live show, and that's what happens with technology and live shows. So if you want to be part of the show and don't mind dealing with a little bit of a delay, 702-957-1037. Let's go to, it looks like, I want to say Brent. Welcome, Brent, to the show. How you doing tonight?
Yes, that previous caller could not have spoken my words more perfectly. Thank you very much, Jennifer. But I'm curious, Michael, what are your thoughts? What are your personal thoughts of what is going on? That's why I'm calling.
Okay.
To discern your thoughts.
All right, fair enough. I will answer that question, but we got a couple minutes to a break, so I want your thoughts first, and then I'll give you mine afterward.
Like I said, she could not have discerned my thoughts more perfectly.
Okay, all right. So I think for me, it's a question of, I think we don't quite understand the universe as well as we thought we did. And so as a result of that, right, like I've talked about the supernovas happening or these nova stars like the Algo star, which is known as the demon star, which again fades in and out. So if everything we know about the universe is wrong, even on the most basic level, I think we have a big problem here. And I think that's probably what we're looking at. I don't know if there's, as much as I want it to be a Lovecraftian old one gobbling up stars like Galactus out of a Marvel comic book, I think if we're looking at the cosmos in terms of history, like I was saying on one of the breaks, I was trying to dig into some ancient star maps and see if there's any corroboration regarding this in the past, but I can't find anything because we don't have any, right? We didn't start like imaging the stars until, the past 100 years or so with that technology. So I don't know, man. I think that, just given what's going on here, I just think we don't really understand the universe as well as we thought we did. That's my take there.
Can I say another thing?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Mercury retrograde began earlier, so that might be why you're having all these technical difficulties.
Oh, yeah, it could be. Very well could be. Good stuff, my friend. First-time caller, am I right?
This is Brent.
All right, we got to go. We got to take a break. Brent, first-time caller, thank you so much for being part of the show tonight. Yeah, we're talking about missing stars from the sky. An estimated 8,000 may be missing from the night sky, and nobody's talking about it. What in the world is going on? Do you want to be part of the show tonight? 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. I'm Michael Strange. This is Troubled Minds. More after the break. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, D-Live, YouTube, and Periscope, and we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We're taking your phone calls tonight, and we are talking about missing stars in the sky. A 10% sky survey indicates we have approximately 800 missing stars, up to 800 missing. Literally, were there in the 50s, are no longer there at all, gone. Extrapolate the number to 100% of the night sky, and that's 8,000 stars missing. What in the hell is going on? Love to hear your thoughts on this. 702 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and we'll put you on the show. Our phone numbers are a little bit laggy tonight. I don't know exactly what's going on. It could be internet. It could be the phone service. It could be all kinds of things, and that's what you get with a live show. Yeah, sometimes you never know, right? That's the way things go. I was about to go to James in the Discord, but he just jumped out of there. Yeah, so hop back in, James. We'll put you on the show. All right, so again, let's go to this. Like, again, alien civilizations. What's happening with this? We've got all kinds of different stuff. We got missing supernovas from, again, if you go back, I was looking into some of this, and this is what I mean by the oldest extant star chart, right? A precious Chinese document brought back to light from the legendary Silk Road. And this is what I'm talking about. If you guys are looking at the stream, this is the type of thing where I was trying to find if there's any actual, like, historical basis for this type of stuff. And this is as far back as I could find, right? You get some of this Sumerian stuff that's in tablets and some other things. But as far as like maybe a modern type star chart that maybe, again, like I said, with history the way it is, with archaeology the way it is, we have, you'd need not just one piece, you'd need, this exact astronomer, keeping a record over months or years to even determine something like this has been happening for, millennia. And that's kind of the question here. That's what's on my mind tonight is this not a new thing? We also had a great thought by JR in the over on Rockfin. Maybe there's a Death Star out there just wrecking planets wholesale. I thought that was pretty funny, right? Everybody remembers Star Wars and the Death Star. The technological terror is insignificant to the power of the Force. Well, yeah, maybe the Death Star is out there blowing up planets just like they're Alderons, and the Empire's on the way. Who knows? Of course, it seems maybe there's more than one Death Star. Maybe that's what's going on. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know exactly what this is all about, other than I'm confused. There's a star chart that goes back to, again, the Silk Road the term in let's see, Chinese Silk Road in, let's see, where was the date of this actual star chart? Let's see. Okay. Anyway. Point being is that there's a whole lot of. I tried to look into the actual history of this, of like astronomy and history, and is there any mention of vanishing stars in the night sky in the old days? And I'm not so sure. Again, like I said, I think speaking in archaeological terms. There's no way we would know this, because we would have to have, again, we're finding out now this is a thing because of our imaging from the 1950s and now our current imaging that's happening as we speak. And again, there's that Vasco project. If you guys are interested in trying to figure out and help this situation, they need people to verify this stuff. And so that's what's going on, right? Like I said, check out this Vasco project thing. It's pretty cool. You download this little thing, and AI has actually sorted out a bunch of different candidates for missing stars, right? Kind of in the night sky. And what they need is people, human people, just like you and me, using just regular computers. You don't need a quantum computer, or you don't need to be able to time travel or anything like that. And you can actually help them fill in the night sky and crowdsource this information and get maybe we can find the 8,000 missing stars in our lifetime. But that's a pretty cool thing, in my opinion. That's science crowdsourcing, putting it out there and saying, here's the data, and you can look at all the data yourself. They have the images yourself, and it's pretty good stuff. What's up? Rolf says, could be the Borg. Assimilating planets, assimilating solar systems, right? Maybe. What's up? Fred says, the Vogons clearing a path for a super galactic highway, right? There we go. There's some more of that. What's going on, guys? Robert says the universe caught COVID. Yeah, I don't know. And that's what's on my mind tonight. So there's more here. There's tons of stuff. Let's see. Let's go to the Dyson sphere, right? So they've described it as possibly extraterrestrial civilizations using these Dyson spheres, which of course would be a hypothetical megastructure that completely encompasses a star and captures a large percentage of its power output, meaning that a Dyson sphere, or even a Dyson swarm, they've suggested, maybe are blacking out these stars to us, because maybe as the star changes or turns or whatever happens, the Dyson sphere is actually collecting energy and blocks out our view of the star from with the line of sight. And if we were on the other side of the star, we would be able to see it currently. So who knows what's actually happening with this? Maybe it's the Dyson sphere turning, right? Something like this, maybe. But again, we're talking nearly 800 of these already. So I think that would be a lot of alien civilizations out there. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Is it, again, do you think this is alien in nature? Do you think there's something more to this? Or do you think that, as Lily and others have suggested in the chat, that maybe the angels in the night sky are bowing out for some reason? Maybe they're taking their ball and they're going home. I think that's the weirdness of this, is that we don't really know. And not only that, that science has no idea either. They've got some they've got some theories as usual, right? But as usual, it's one of those situations where how the hell can you quantify 800 missing stars? Right? Like, you'd have to be able to say, right, sure, you could probably account for some of them, right? You could probably account for maybe, some stars going missing because, again, like a supernova. But it's hard for us to miss that because it explodes and becomes a factor of 10 brighter, all right? Again, maybe it's a nova-type star, like Algol, right? The demon star, as it's known, which is a regular, it's not a supernova, it's called a nova star. And what a nova star does, it just fades in and out. But if that were the case, some of these stars would begin fading back in at some point, right? I mean, we can actually watch this Algol star, the demon star, fade in and out. So it's happened in our lifetime, and it continues to happen. So what's going on with these stars that are literally gone, just gone from the night sky? That's what's happening here. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? I'd love to hear from you guys if you want to be part of the show. Let's see. We had James. Let's go to James. James Salcido of Salcido Paranormal. Check out his podcast, by the way. He was doing his thing earlier this afternoon. It was fantastic. James, welcome to the show. How are you tonight? Maybe we have a lag on Discord as well. Whenever you're ready, my man. All right, so let's see. Jack says Mike Tyson punching stars. Yeah, there it is. Bat Out of Hell says, scientists tell people that we have moon phases, but we have moons that cover our visible moon to give phases. What? What is that? What's up, James? How are you? Welcome to the show, my friend. Test 1 2. Testing 1 2. I think you're good. You should be good. I heard you earlier. James, test 1 2. What's up, buddy? Salcido Paranormal. You're up. Testing. Testing. Can you hear me, James? Hello, hello. Okay. I think there's something seriously wrong tonight. Something wrong with the technology. All right. That's cool. So sorry, you can kick me out. Hang there until you're ready. It's no problem. All right. So what we're doing tonight is we're talking about all kinds of weird stuff. We're talking about the stars in the sky are vanishing, and it's literally been confirmed by science. This is not a thing. We're not speculating here. We're speculating on why, but again, this has been going on for tons, maybe again, I could find as early as 2014, but we're talking about these actual things in the night sky. These stars are from the star images, star maps of the 1950s. And I think that's what's going on here. That's the weirdness of the discussion tonight. And is it something biblical? Is it something that is, well, I don't know. Is it Lovecraftian, ancient, primordial universe type stuff? Is it like Robert suggested, that maybe we just in the simulated universe, maybe somebody forgot to plug in the power source? Maybe Robert says maybe it only killed 8,000 stars, so that Death Star is pretty inefficient. Yeah, I don't know. So that's what's going on. I don't know what's happening here regarding these stars vanishing from the night sky, but it does seem strange to me. ESN Works on the Discord says Mercury retrograde just started. Was that tonight? All right. I can buy that. Okay, so there's more here. Let me get to more of this. Now I was looking into some of this, right? And I mentioned this earlier when we first started. And there's this thing called the Ouroboros. All right, if you guys don't know what this is, the Ouroboros is this. It's an ancient symbol depicting a serpent or dragon eating its own tail. Originating in ancient Egyptian iconography, the Ouroboros entered Western tradition via Greek magical tradition and was adopted as a symbol in Gnosticism and Hermeticism, and most notably in alchemy. The term derives from ancient Greek, from tail and eating. The Ouroboros is often interpreted as a symbol for eternal cyclic renewal, or a cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The skin sloughing process of snakes symbolizes the transmigration of souls. The snake biting its own tail is a fertility symbol in some religions, and the tail of the snake is a phallic symbol. The mouth is a yonic or womb-like symbol. And so this Ouroboros here is possibly, maybe these stars are eating themselves. Maybe this is part of a natural cycle that, again, we hadn't considered because we haven't been watching the skies and taking sky surveys enough. Okay? And so this depiction of the Ouroboros, again, the serpent eating its own tail, self-destruction, life, birth, and rebirth. And is this what's happening? And again, if this is the case, we're talking about maybe stars like the Algol, that demon star, as it's a nova, it fades in and out. Maybe this is these stars devouring themselves for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. Again, if you guys want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Let's see. I think James is good to go. Are you there, James? Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello?
Nice.
I'm here.
Welcome to the show, James. How are you, my man?
I'm better now that I got that working, so
nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Hey, man, I have all kinds of issues tonight, too, so maybe it is that Mercury retrograde thing going on. So what's on your mind tonight? What do you think is happening with these vanishing stars?
I just have a couple of thoughts on them. I mean, if they're stars, then that means they have all kinds of energy and matter attached to them, so maybe they're not even being drained. Maybe they're using their own energy to move to where they want to move to, and that's what's causing them to not only not be there, but also maybe appear darker too.
Okay. So at some point there, what I mean, I'm having a hard time thinking of that Ouroboros cycle where maybe they are devouring themselves, but what's happening? Like this many stars just kind of vanishing from the night sky in a span of that's one human lifetime, 70 years. It seems out there, doesn't it? It seems like this is like crazier than any science fiction that could be written. I mean, type devouring stars in a search engine or vanishing stars and you get like sci-fi. You get like video games and stuff. It's crazy. I don't know, man. So what do you propose then? What do you think they would be doing, devouring their own energy, turning into something else entirely? Maybe like the mighty morphing Power Rangers, if you know what I mean. See what I did there? But but I don't know. Why do you think they would do that? Why do you think they would be devouring themselves?
Well, it may not even be that they're doing that to the point where they're destroyed. Maybe it's just a change of some kind. And they're, like I said, they're using their energy to go somewhere else, whether it's coming here, if they are sentient, or not. I don't know. It really makes me wonder about what would happen to the planets that would be orbiting a star if it goes away like that. And why would it do that if it might destroy the planets that are around it? But yeah, I don't know. I think I definitely agree that we don't know much about all this, and I think again, getting back to the spiritual side of things, it's kind of being driven home more and more to me lately that maybe that whole the other side, it extends to all across the universe, and so maybe there's maybe it's not even the stars themselves that are doing it. Maybe it's beings that are there in one form or another that are making them either move away from where they're at, or maybe draining them. But maybe they're not. They're just not physical beings like we have here. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities.
Interesting. So meaning that as we discuss, like we're going to be talking about as the veil thins, as we get closer to Halloween and this type of thing. And again, on your podcast, you talk about spirits all the time. Again, please follow Salcedo Paranormal. That's James, the host here. Good stuff. I was just in the stream tonight. Always good stuff from James. Well, the link's actually already on YouTube, so just check it out. Scroll down a little bit. His link is there. But so meaning in terms of like the veil, maybe these entities, whether they're, angels or, like you said, sentient or something else, maybe they are passing over. Maybe they're crossing into whatever that other layer is of that veil. And whether that's dimensional or whether that's simply, maybe they're still there, we just can't perceive them anymore because they've, I don't know, maybe spun into a different timeline or, right? Maybe things like this. I don't know. What do you think that?
Yeah, maybe even the that nothingness or whatever that we talked about earlier. I forgot who mentioned it first now. I'm bad with that. But maybe that's almost like a different kind of a veil that is covering those stars or is taking in those stars through itself. I don't know. That's another possibility.
Isn't it? How about this? Is it startling that it's really happening and we're not making this stuff up?
It really is. More than anything else that is going on in this world. I mean, as bad as a lot of the stuff is, there's some bad things happening, from people doing things to other people on this planet for ages. We're just a lot more aware of it now, I think, in a lot of cases because of the internet and all that communication and 24-hour news cycle and all that. But so that's kind of, in a lot of ways, there's nothing new here. But that idea that stars are vanishing wherever they're going to, that's something else.
Yeah, interestingly, this is the crazy part. The saying goes like this: nothing new under the sun.
Under the sun,
but
yes.
What happens when all the suns are vanishing?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Not only that, how about this one? I said this during the break, but if all these stars just suddenly blink and maybe come back, let's say 100 or 200 years from now, what happens when our star blinks?
Yeah. Oh, we're goodbye all that heat, goodbye all that energy. Yep.
Adios.
Or
that's the real great reset, right? That's when the sun blinks.
Or even something else. What if all those stars suddenly appear like right here? Ooh. Then it's the other extreme. We're just fried.
Ooh, like maybe they're stealth approaching us. I like it. It. How about this? What about cosmic eyeballs? And they're simply closing their eyes to rest for just a moment from watching us.
Could be.
Ooh.
Could be.
The ideas keep coming.
Yeah.
Does it spook you out though that this is a real thing?
It does. It's it's not like ghosts or aliens, which some people can say, oh, that's not real. This is, I mean, like you said in the article, that first article, it's not just people like us that are supposedly crazy that are, knowing this. It's scientists. So,
yeah,
that's that. Yeah,
wild, right?
And again, the fact that it's not being covered by the news. That's just, but I mean, that doesn't, it surprises me in a way, but then it doesn't, given the way the news, quote unquote news, is these days anyway. So
yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me a bit. Well, of course, because anything that changes the paradigm of reality, they don't want us talking about. They want us thinking about, because then we start, we catch on to their game. And well, we're way ahead of that game here anyway. So fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
I got a call right behind you. Let's squeeze this in before we take off. You're the best. If you want to call back later, you're more than welcome. Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks,
have a good
James.
night.
You're the best, my man. That's James Salcedo Paranormal. Check him out. You can find his link right there on the YouTube page. Scroll down and check it out. Let's go to Robert in Pennsylvania. What's happening, my friend? Welcome to the show. How are you tonight? Test 1, 2. Did I break it again?
Am I on?
Yes, you're on. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah. What I'm hearing through the phone, all right, is crackling on your end. All right, it's because you're talking and then there's a crackle and can't hear what you're, it's like parts of your sentences are being dropped off.
Okay, I don't know that I can fix that right this moment, but that's, we're gonna have to deal with it. Just go right ahead, sir.
Okay. Okay. If we're living in a simulation, like a lot of quantum physicists have been putting across, all right, saying that we create our own reality. It's possible that the stars are disappearing because we're not paying attention anymore. Our existence in this simulation has gotten so, everybody working 2-3 jobs, everybody's tired, all right? Nobody has the time to be fascinated about anything anymore, and nobody's paying attention. And the simulation is starting to shut down.
Interesting. Shut it down. Time to go home, everybody. Closing time.
We're not shutting it down. It's shutting down because it's being ignored. All right, it's not being paid attention to, so it figures it's not needed anymore. So let's turn the lights out. Let's build a new universe. Let's go from Nintendo to a new PlayStation. That type of thing.
We're upgrading the hardware.
Mm-hmm. There's a new universe coming, all right? And it had this one has to make way for the next. We ourselves don't. I bet there's millions and millions and millions of people who feel like they're fading. People are fading just like the stars. Like the whole thing's coming to. Everybody has this thing inside them that's telling them it's all coming to a conclusion.
I like it, man. I like where you're going with this.
I'm going to have to get off the phone because this is not working.
Okay, got you. I appreciate the call, Robert.
Excuse me.
You're good. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later. Have a fantastic night. Thanks, man.
Night.
There you go. Robert in Pennsylvania. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, phone issues because, live shows, and if it starts and it's broken, we just got to roll with it because I can't stop everything to fix it. So, that's what's going on tonight. That's what's on my mind tonight, and we're done. I appreciate the call, Robert, and everybody else. Thank you for being part of this. I don't know. I think this is probably one of the single most disturbing things you could probably come up with. Stars vanishing from the night sky, and we have no idea why it's happening. And wow. We're going to keep an eye on this, and hopefully that if you guys want to do that Vasco project and help with the citizen science thing and help determine more of these stars missing, it's there. And and as we finish, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void if you're listening on the Fringe FM. If you're listening to us on Rockfin, D-Live, YouTube, or Periscope, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds. We're still taking your phone calls, and we're still discussing what the hell is going on with the sky. No kidding, 700 to 800 missing stars from the night sky as we currently know it, with a 10% sky survey. Seems like something's up. What is going on? Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific with more Troubled Minds. For now, be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. All right. So we got one more hour of Troubled Minds coming up when we come off of the radio here. We don't have any more breaks. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break to kind of round out the hour here. But what we're going to do is we're going to keep taking your phone calls. If you guys are interested in talking about this more with some more ideas or speculation or whatever the heck is going on, love to have you. Yeah. There's a third hour. We're going to keep on trucking. All right. So the deal is we're off of the radio, and we're now on YouTube, Rockfin, D-Live, and Periscope. So we're going to keep on doing that and talking about this. So if you guys love the conversation, I love to hear your thoughts because, again, like I said, we're here teaching each other some things. Because as it goes, you don't really know how it goes until you consider it, talk about it, maybe even sleep on it and come back and talk about it again tomorrow, right? So that's what we're doing. We keep an eye on these things as they develop, and we'll keep an eye on this as that Vasco project kind of does its thing. And if you want to help, again, again, that link is down below. Just look up Vasco Project, just like it sounds, VASCO, and it's citizens just helping the sky surveys find where these missing stars actually have occurred. So good stuff. So what we're going to do is take a quick 2-minute break, and we'll be right back with more Troubled Minds. We got Kelly on the horn here on Discord, and we'll go right to him when we come back. So if you guys want to be part of the show, you know what to do. Phone number is up, and there you go. Going to take a quick break. Here's some music, and don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds in just one moment. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are talking about the missing stars from the sky. You may not have noticed, but, science says there's at least 700, probably closer to 800, that are missing from 10% of our sky surveys that have been matched from the 1950s to current sky surveys. And so, yep, literally just missing, vanished from the night sky. And so, like I said, is there not a more terrifying thing happening here? This literally turns the whole universe on its head. What happens when these stars just blink out? And what kind of things does it make for, science fiction or religion stuff? Or you tell me, I have no idea. What happens when our sun blinks? We got a problem, don't we? We got a serious problem there. So, I don't know. That's what we're doing. That's what we're hanging out, talking about, and we're taking your phone calls if you want to be part of the show. We're into the third hour, which means it's just us. No radio commercials, no interruptions. We're just going to talk about this stuff and to keep taking your calls. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Phone lines are a little bit dicked up, but what can you do? It is a live show, and Discord seems to be working a little bit better for that. So Discord's the way to go if you want to be on the show and have your thought not interrupted by some weird delays and crackling static. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and we'll put you on the show. Kelly, whenever you're ready, my friend, let's talk about some missing stars. What the hell is going on out there?
Yeah, what is going on out there?
You tell me. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you tonight?
Yeah, how's it going, my brother? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. This is a weird one, isn't it? This is legitimate. This isn't like theory craft. This is confirmed, and nobody's talking about it. What the hell?
I seen the story, but I didn't really look into it. You know what I mean? It was kind of for me, telling me that, is it now, did you read the story? Obviously you did, because can you tell me if it was out of a certain area of the sky, or are they talking stars within stars that are disappearing?
Yeah, no, okay. So in the 50s, they did an entire sky survey, the entire visible universe from where we're at, okay? And what's happening now is that they're confirming. So what happened is, because it's too much, because there's too many stars, there's millions of stars in the sky in the visible universe, millions, right? Maybe even billions, right? But what's happening now is we have AI that's gone through the old star surveys from the 1950s and compared them to new star surveys with better equipment now. And what's happening is it's finding discrepancies where we literally have a photograph of a star that is just no longer there anymore. I'll put up an example again on the screen of exactly the type of stuff it's finding, because it's so what's, to answer your question, I don't know if it's a particular quadrant per se, but I do know it is less than 10% of the visible universe from Earth. So that's the weird part. So as they continue, you would expect them to find more of these missing stars. So I don't know if it's a particular quadrant, for example, but I do know it is less than 10%. So there we go. Maybe that answers your question there.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that is because if it's 10% of the stars throughout the whole map sky, then, those would probably just be, death of stars. But if it's in the whole quadrant, then, even if a death of a star, we see one blink out, supposedly, the reason why I didn't look into that is because, even if that happens all the time. But we're seeing it supposedly in science theory that we're seeing that shit, that happened, billions of years ago or millions of years ago, right? And their standards saying that, that's something that it was a flash, but, that thing happened, so many light years away. So that hadn't happened, so many million years ago or some shit. So that's why I kind of didn't even look into it, because I don't know. That's why sometimes I look at science and they contradict each other. I know they're trying to say they found new revelations or they got new equipment, but still, it's still the same thing. It's almost like contradictory in each other.
Yeah, for sure. But the thing is, right, so we're not even talking about a million years ago. We're talking about literally the 1950s within a human lifetime. And that's part of the issue here. So we have photographic evidence of a sky image that has now changed. And it's not, again, we're talking about probably a small sample when we're talking about, maybe tens of thousands of stars or maybe hundreds of thousands of stars have been, double checked here. But, right, still 800 or just less than 800 is absolutely not insignificant. That's a lot of damn stars. And so scientifically you're correct, but as we understand cosmology as it sits, the theories are that when these stars vanish, they don't just burn out, right? They're supposed to grow into these massive red giants and all this other stuff. There's a process, and then they collapse in on themselves and become a brown dwarf, and then right, and then that's the thing, and that's part of the problem here is that everything we know about the universe says this shouldn't be happening, and yet there it is, black and white on these images. It's happening, and they're finding more every day. That's the weird part.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but what I was saying is that, so the missing star, though, that what happened when a star dies, and we're seeing it from our advantage, that happened millions of years ago. So that's what I'm saying. But as if we're seeing that, and it's a whole quadrant, you know what? We're actually catching the glimpse, maybe, of a galactic war, of of a weapon able to, kind of like Star Wars, taking out whole planets or a whole galaxies, or not galaxies, but a star system.
Yeah, I see. So if it's a particular area, then maybe we are witnessing Star Wars. I see what you're getting at. I don't know that it is, because you got to think in terms of, just like you said, the time as the light years go, we end up these things. If the star blinked out, it was a long ass time ago. I get you there. But just 5 degrees in the night sky is an unbelievable amount of space. So it would kind of have to be clustered together to be that type of thing too. So I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but I would think that's unlikely, because that would be notable in the news story, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying too. So if that's okay, so let's say that they're just blinking out like that, and that's actually, that's a lot of stars. You know what I'm saying? If it's in a certain quadrant, like you're saying, in a little certain section of the night sky, I would say for me, that's a galactic war. You know what I mean? Because again, the whole process that science says is that goes in. It explodes. The sun explodes and goes into a small dwarf, a red dwarf. So, and it has a lot of. So that's the process supposedly of stars. They just don't blink out and just disappear, where they're no longer there. That means that it was either there's a giant fucking black hole sucking everything in, or something destroying stars and planetary systems with that. Because again, if through science, if what we're learning through high school or through school anyway, that you're finding out that, that's not the way a star dies, and if they're totally being blinked out, that's saying something.
Yeah, well, exactly, and it's not just one, and I think that's the part here that makes this notable. The word notable is you could probably explain away a dozen of them, right? Be like, okay, this is some new phenomenon that we just haven't really seen happen, right? And now it's something we can investigate. But we're talking hundreds, it was 100 a couple 3 years ago, but as they find more and more and more here, man, it starts to become a little more perplexing, because, well, again, right, you can't just block it and not see what's blocking it. That would be critically obvious, right? I mean, we're not just going from memory. We have a new photograph of the exact same spot. I don't know, man. It's like I said, it does turn everything kind of upside down. And even we've got two examples here on the screen. One's from 2007 and one's from 2015. So even in that 8-year span, the star blinked out. It's just not there. I don't know, man. This is scary stuff. Do you think that there's maybe something, not astronomy involved here? Do you think it's possibly something else instead of, or you can continue with the interstellar war if you like. What are your other thoughts on this?
Okay, it's either that, okay, because, again, stars, like you said, just don't disappear out of the sky, Okay, so another thing could be, let me think. I was just thinking while you were just talking. Wait a minute. You know me, man. I got a billion things running through my head at the time.
That's okay. That's okay. You're allowed. Yeah. You're allowed, man.
Okay, so, or here it is. So if we're just taking pictures, this is what we're doing, right? This is what they did. They take pictures and then they comparing, AI is going through and seeing stars that are no longer there. Maybe they wasn't stars. Maybe they were fucking planet sizes Death Stars that are move about, that look like stars at the time. You know what I mean? Because we're just taking pictures, right? We're not taking like actual zooming in on each and every single star, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, or like real-time video for 50 years type of thing. So maybe they are in transit. Maybe they do come and go.
Yeah. Just like maybe could be like kind of like where they're saying that these planets don't need a star to to be alive, like rogue planets. Maybe they're rogue stars, because not everything is going to have. Not every star would probably. That's kind of be ridiculous to say that each star would have a planetary system around it too, though. Maybe some stars just don't have them. Maybe it was two stars and they finally ate each other up and just blew up. That's what I'm saying. So for just taking pictures instead of just because like I said, there's billions of stars out there. Now obviously that they're just counting stars. If you're looking at a picture and you're just seeing, okay, there was supposed to be a star here, now there is no longer one. Then you're scanning some more and say, oh, look, there's another star that was supposed to be there and it's no longer there. So maybe they're either mobile or, we don't know enough of the universe to understand why whole stars would just blink out or get sucked up. Again, it could be a few things, a smaller black hole fucking everything up.
Yeah, we've talked about that in the past. They call them primordial black holes. Maybe they're just too small for us to actually detect, and maybe they come across a star and just gobble that sucker up. And maybe it's so the thing is, right, you would expect a star that you can see visibly in the night sky. If it gets torn apart by something like a black hole, you would notice something, right? I mean, you would notice something going on with that. But maybe it's on a small enough scale that it just kind of eats it up kind of quietly, and maybe it does blink it out just like that. And maybe that's another explanation that actually wasn't talked about in that video or some of these articles, is that maybe it is like these maybe like a 2 or 3 system of these tiny black holes in orbit around each other, and they just kind of move into a star and take this sucker out kind of stealth like. I mean, that kind of makes a little bit of sense too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it could be like, because stars and everything else come from nebulas, right? And and all these things are getting flung out, you know what I mean? So that's where some planets or everything else, a star system would, a star would have, but maybe it just didn't, maybe it was bright at one time and then it just spun out, and, everything that was going to be a star is just all space dust now, That's what I'm saying. We don't really know. And not to be off course here, but there wasn't one thing that was kind of like, I question all the time, and we kind of did that in Discord, was how do we know all these, I understand we have some very powerful telescopes in space, or we have some here on the planet. But when you're on the planet, you can only see maybe 5 hours a night before, it starts getting bright again, to see the night sky. So to map something would take fucking virtually forever, man. Years and years, 35, 40 years before they could, really say, of something happening, But if you, if you use But how, like, for me, it's just like, if, you know, all these space magazines or whatnot that I follow a lot, but they're just saying like, hey, we know this and this and this about the planet, you know, this planet is like so many millions of light years away. Like, how in the fuck do you guys know this much evidence? You know, but seriously, like, I'm talking like, unless we have a space force or like a secret space program that's already been to these places, because sometimes, man, I don't know, man, like with some of this information, the only way you can really know that much detail is fucking being there. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
I mean, you know, it's the red shift and the blue shift, and they can measure, you know, how fast the universe is expanding. This, you know, I'm with you. It seems very less than precise, let's say. But you know, these people that, you know, smarter than me, say that the mathematics work out. But not only that, there's actually another issue with that, is people can't even agree on how fast it's expanding. So even the mathematics are foggy from the experts, the people that are supposed to know the answers. So yeah, maybe you're spot on here. Is it like the shit is just too damn big for us to know anything about, and we're basing everything. It's just like aliens, right? Like we're all trying to figure out. You know, all the scientists on Earth are trying to figure out, the aliens, and they're trying to make them like us. But come on, let's be real. Like, how similar do you think the aliens are to us? And it's the same thing with the star. Like, how similar do you think all the stars in the whole damn universe are to our sun? There's probably a lot of differences out there, don't you think?
Oh yeah, there is, because I said, I got my own telescope, and you know, there's different colors, there's different sizes and shapes. You know what I mean? They're not all the same. People just, you know, and it's all hydrogen, different types of hydrogen. That's what a star is, you know, or what they call a sun. And I don't know, man, like we have a yellow one, but, you know, there's blue ones, pink ones, purple ones. There's all kinds of different fucking colors. But the thing is, and, you know, and each one of them is going to have a different, you know, I guess like a different, you know, a different mass, you know, that's why the different sizes, you know. But what's weird is when they blow up, you know, and then they become a dwarf, you know, that their mass is even greater. But anyway, get off the subject. But yeah, for me, I don't know, for stars like that, there's, you know, there's different possibilities, and that would be mine, you know. So it's either a galactic war we're seeing, if it's a whole section of that. That's what I'm saying. If it's like a whole section, you got something going on, and we're just finally seeing some of it. You know, if we're glancing into outer space and seeing this shit. But it's either that or these things were mobile. You know, they're what looked like a star on a picture at one time is no longer there. You know, in the night sky as they take it, you know, within years of difference. Or they're just, you know, something's sucking them up like a black hole or something that we can't see.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm open to all the theories, and I think that that's as solid as any of these. I mean, we're just trying to figure this out as well. I don't know if you're interested, but I did just link it back in the chat here. If you want to pull up the actual download the little widget they have and help them maybe see, because, you know, like I said, AI has picked out some discrepancies in the night sky versus the old images, and they're using people, just you and me, to be able to go double check these things and say, no, this one's not like that. There's something wrong with this particular image. That's why it got picked up by the AI, right? So it is there. It's called the Vasco Project, like I said, and you can spend some time even seeing it with your own eyeballs. So an open source science project, like you said, it take forever to scan the whole sky and verify. So they're asking for help from all the people out there. I thought that was a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, I would have to check that out. You know, I didn't hear. Sorry, I jumped on a little late. I didn't hear everybody else's theories. That would have been pretty cool, but. What's interesting, I don't know if it's kind of a coincidence, but not a weird quinky dinky, but I was looking at this, the new telescope. That's what I was, what I was talking about earlier, but it's a new system that I got. It's actually the most powerful one that they're looking at, that they're using. It's called, they call it, fuck, I have to look. Hold on.
You're good. I'm gonna call it the big fucking telescope. That's what I'm gonna call it.
Well, that's more or less what it is. They have an abbreviation for it, but this thing is called the Espresso. And what they're doing is using 4 telescopes, but with this new system with lasers, right? So each laser on each telescope, they're looking in four different color variations, and then when they draw it in, that's where the pick in. But it's the most clear, and what it does is hunting for exoplanets. But they can. That's what I'm saying. So when you're scanning the sky, they're only got so many hours before they can do it, and then when they go back, 24 hours later, they do it again in that same direction. But for this one, this is one of the most, this unit here, this telescope, it's the VLT. It's called the Espresso. It's called and it stands for the Shell Spectrograph for Rocky Exoplanet and Stable Spectral Optic Observations.
Kelly, that's what I said. The big fucking telescope. Everything's got to have a damn gigantic acronym, doesn't it? Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, go ahead.
That's what they call it. That's what they call it, the Espresso. But yeah, that's a badass motherfucker too. But I don't know, man. Just interesting. Space is very interesting to me.
Yeah, big time.
And the way what I get a kick at is some of these theories that are put forth. Even though we are using some of this stuff, how do they know that we're not looking at the time when this star exploded, that it didn't just happen? As our visual eyes, how do they know that it's, now they're saying that, how many light years away, that we're just seeing history, later on. I don't know, man. That shit, I got to wrap my mind around that one.
Yeah, totally.
That was hard.
Totally. So do you think maybe there could be something supernatural to this? Like some people have suggested earlier on in the show. I'll fill you in a little bit that maybe these are angels in the heavens that are maybe bowing out of the fight. Maybe they are, being reassigned. Things like this is that maybe the stars aren't as we see them. Maybe they're conscious things, and or maybe, like I said, maybe cosmic eyeballs blinking. For all we know, like all kinds of crazy theories out there that who the hell knows. And on top of that, what happens when our sun blinks? Oh shit, man.
Yeah, you know what? I just came up with a couple things. If you're adding that in there, is what's weird is about like. If we go to Egypt, right, and then who was it? What king was it? King Aten. Right?
Akhenaten.
He would believe that.
Yep.
But Aten was his belief that they wanted to get rid of all the gods, all the other gods, the demigods, and there was only one god, which is the sun, Akhenaten, right?
Yep.
But it's Aten called it, and it's weird too, because there's a few theories, and stars everything's alive in the universe, and especially a sun. They're saying that it's just just a gaseous ball that's that's flaming out. It doesn't have like a surface per se. It's just it's hydrogen, right, and just expanding and closing on it itself, and how it, but. I don't know, man. Some of the stuff that I read on, like, there was that one guy that I post him all the time, too, but I follow him for a while, too. He's a physicist, but his theory is that stars can be used as jump gates, right? But who knows? Even that's, I could go down that one, but the thing about it was that just like volcanoes, too, is like, it's talking about in a singularity. If you have a jump engine that goes into a singularity, you can pop out anywhere in the universe.
Yeah, Yeah, I thought about you. Somebody brought up a theory earlier. I can't remember who it was, that maybe there's these civilizations out there, like you've described, maybe drawing plasma from these stars. And they actually, just shut the star down. They draw so much power from this thing because we talk about exotic propulsion, right? And it can't be done without an immense amount of power. And so maybe, as you've described, even in our sun, there's been some images out there that suggest, and some people have claimed that there are maybe craft using our sun as a power source to open a portal to do that advanced propulsion. And if clearly, if you don't want to be seen, you just do it on a star that has no life anywhere around it, right? And you can shut that star down in a matter of who knows how long, however much you can suck the juice out of it, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like now that you said that, you remember the story about they seen that distant star. It You know, and that's how they see that there's planets rotating around it. But it was blinking so much that there would be no way that that many planets around it. So they, you know, some people speculated that it's like they have a big giant like wheels that are rotating around this star, and you know, you could, of course, hydrogen. Shit, you can make fucking cars out of hydrogen, which is what we should be doing. But yeah, hydrogen is a very powerful power source. You know, to use the energy off of a star, yeah, man, that'd be incredible. I mean, look at us. We're the dumbasses that don't even use the sun as a power source. Fuck, we're still... I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. This thing's been around billions of years. It's the most powerful thing on here. You know, come on. Why we ain't using the fucking power from the star ourselves? It's ridiculous.
It does seem silly, especially, and I think that's like we barely talked about extraterrestrials at all tonight. There was some other theories, you know, regarding who knows, you know, Lovecraftian old ones gobbling up stars way out in there in the universe type stuff, you know, like who knows what's really going on. And I think that's part of this is that we don't know, do we? And again, if it turns cosmology on its head. Maybe stars just die random, like maybe they just burn out, you know, and which doesn't fit the theories, but maybe that shit just happens, you know, for God knows what reason, but maybe it's as simple as that, you know.
Yeah, just like when you were saying about that the snake thing, that, you know, that kind of reminded me of that. I don't know if you ever heard of that. He's an African, he's an elder, but they call him like a witch doctor. I can't remember his name, Huru or something like that. But he talks about some, you know, the reptilians and stuff like that. And what these space brothers have, you know, taught them and stuff that's been passed down to him because, you know, he, like I said, they claim like a witch doctor or whatever. But you know, all that information that was passed down to him. But yeah, it's almost like he talks about there was a story in there that there's what does he call it? A fire dragon that goes around eating stars and planets.
Yes, sir.
That's a crazy shit too, man. I'm like, but who knows? Who knows if there's a floating beast out there that fucking eats planets and stars, man? We don't know. I mean, it could be these things that are like rolling around that, you know, that needs to consume that energy to keep going. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
Damn, hey, there could be some crazy shit out there.
Exactly. Here, check this out. So I found this. This is and I kept trying to find, and I know, right, with the eclipse, with the you know, the solar eclipses and the lunar eclipses, you know, some of these mythologies of the old days say that it's, you know, like a dragon, you know, like putting its mouth over the sun or over the moon, right? This type of thing. And so I was like, okay, there's got to be some like mythologies in the past describing how these stars disappear. And I searched and I searched and I searched. I spent 3 hours today just trying to find some references to this, even in mythology, and it's tough. I did find this, though. Check this out. What mythological dragons eat the world? And that's exactly what you're talking about. Like I said, I like to be prepared for everything. And there's a bunch, right? There's, you know, Galactus from Marvel Comics, the Fantastic Four. It eats planets, right? Norse mythology, Skoll. I don't know how to say that in particular. Skoll, maybe. Thang is not a dragon, but consumes worlds. Some people are describing the Large Hadron Collider might make dragons that eat worlds. Who the hell knows, man? But there's a list here of this same sort of thing. And that Ouroboros, maybe the stars are consuming themselves somehow. I like the idea, man. Maybe there's something out there eating these things. And think about how horrifying that would be. Some kind of just cosmic entity cruising through the nether and just decides to gulp down a star. What the fuck, man?
You know what? It was kind of interesting that you said that you were looking through mythology about something that's eating the world. But, you know, it's not a world. But there's a thing that they're claiming that it looks, because it kind of looks like it because it's in the snake's mouth. But there's a serpent mouth that's swallowing what looks like an egg, and that's what, you know, a lot of even the Hindus and some of the older religions, they believe that, you know, even the Mayans, they had like the universe is, or the egg or the earth or the universe is shaped like an egg. But anyway, yeah, there's if you look that up, there's like a snake I think it's the Serpent Mound, man, and it shows them eating like a round object.
Interesting. So I wonder, right? Like they've described, that could be like the. It's funny the way archaeology does everything. When they find something they don't quite understand, it's like the most obvious thing. But holy shit, maybe the Mayans or whoever knew. Boom, we're just gobbling down stars with who, like the Quetzalcoatl or some shit, right? Just eating stars.
Yeah, because like all their gods was the flying dragon, you know, or even through Asia was a dragon. You know, and then you have the old stories about, you know, the fire dragon that's running around the star system and fucking eating shit. That'd be trippy, man. That would be something that, like, that's what I mean. So everybody gets all worried about stuff, and like, you know, we're just a minute thing floating around in space. I mean, every troublesome stuff. There's some troublesome shit that's going on this planet that's, you know, dire need to take care of. You know, but that's government. You slap them kids around, teach them a lesson a little bit. But,
yes, sir.
You know, but like I'm saying, you know, I look at the bigger picture all the time, man. As universal wise, you know, galaxies and everything. That's why I always try to keep a smile on my face, man, because problems that we think are big problems, they're not big problems.
No, man, it ain't shit, is it? It's nothing compared to what's going on out there. I agree 100%. Jack says this in the chat, and I think this is fantastic. Remember the old maps of the world? How, you know, they thought the world was flat and all that stuff. I don't want to get into that right now, but, right, like, and, you know, on the edges of the maps, there would be pictures of, like, dragons and serpents and sea serpents and shit like this. He says this, there be dragons near the map edge. What if as above, so below works in a celestial scale? Shit.
Yeah. I know we could be, our universe could, we could, as far as we could see anyway. Maybe that we're just some, like on Men in Black, we're just some marble, you know, on some kid's fucking dresser drawer. You know what I mean? And he's got 50 marbles with 50 different type of galaxies and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I think that's the weirdness to this, is that nobody knows. It is one of those fantastic mysteries of the universe, and not only that, it literally turns everything on its head that we think we know, and I think that's the best part about it. I don't know. What else you got, my friend? Any other theories on this? Do you think maybe this ties into the Anunnaki story at all? Is there anything you can recall from either the Emerald Tablets or maybe you know, Sitchin or anything where they described maybe eating suns or using them for power sources?
No, I mean, the only thing that was, and this is actually where most of this stuff comes from, is it's called the Enuma Elish, which is the seven tablets of creation, right? And it's just like the beginning of one of Zachariah Stitchin's book, which is called the Lost Book of Enki. And then what's weird is the story they're telling, because when you first read it, you think that, you know, it's going to tell you, and later on, you know, it goes on about the Anunnaki, but man, it's like they tell you it's through somebody's eyes of the creation. He's looking through like the creation of part of a universe, and particularly our galaxy or our solar system being created, being spun off and then created into planets. And, you know, I mean, they're talking about, and we're talking like if you sit there and watch, like, I don't know, you've seen a movie like how a planet would be, how they kind of show a planet from, you know, being created, how hot it was, and it was all volcanic. And then next, you know, it becomes lush and they got fucking animals and then dinosaurs and then humans. And then, okay, so that's the story they're telling of creation of our galaxy. And that's where the story comes in where, but the way the story's told is they're calling them gods. Each planet was a god, right? Or they gave it like the names of these gods. And that's how, so the planet that was destroyed was, which split in half, right? And the other created what they call the hammer bracelet, which is the asteroid belt. And then the other half, which is what they call the head of the planet, which is the Earth, right? So, but anyway, that whole story. But yeah, it talks about something like that. But the creation of our galaxy, which in each one of them, like the furthest one, like planet is Gaga, which is weird because Lady Gaga and that whole shit. You can go down that whole story too. But anyway, yeah, you have Gaga, and she is represented as the when they're coming into their planet as like they're what are they? Actually, Gaga's the first planet because when they come in, they count planets going in towards the sun, and we're the seventh planet. So when we're coming in from Pluto, Pluto is the I can't remember how they call her, like the welcomer from into our solar system. But yeah, they didn't really talk about, but the Galactic War. That's what I want to kind of get into is when Nibiru. And when they explain it, how they went to war, right? So they said Nibiru needed to take out Tiamat, right? Because Tiamat was like the bully or some shit. Which means to me, in a galactic story, because we didn't get that first part, is that, maybe these two planets were, they were at war with each other, and they one blew the other planet up, because the way they explain it, they're not saying that they collided. They said that Nibiru had a weapon, like it split the innards of the planet in half, like with his sword. Like it was like shooting weapons or some shit. And it blew that planet up. And that's where you get, and when he came back around from the Shar, which is a rotation back around, he admired his work when he blew up, the planet was just floating around, in bits and pieces. So he just took it and then made it a hammer bracelet, right? Which is the asteroid belt, which is kind of interesting because it all sticks in one area. It's like it just stuck there, you would think that it would be like if a planet exploded, it'd be kind of shredded out through and then rotating around in chunks, not in one big line. That's what's interesting to me about that. But anyway, they said the top of the planet, which was Tiamat, which is Earth, which is key, right? And they brought the moon. The moon wasn't from here. And which you hear these old stories and these, they're not written stories, but there were stories about, or I think even in Greece too, they talk about before the Earth, before the moon was here. And when the moon came in, that's when you had all this destruction, it caused the tidal waves because, it's going to create, all that shit if a planet was coming toward it, or a moon anyway, an object like that, and creating all that force. And then, you have all the flooding and shit, but yeah, that's the only thing that's kind of interesting is like, that's why I go on that kind of trip too. That like if the stars are missing like that, that's something galactical. That's unless we don't really know too much about stars, maybe they just do blink out instead of exploding to something a white giant.
Yeah, supernova.
Yeah, white giant.
Yep.
Yeah, supernova. When they go supernova, they go to the white giant and then into a red dwarf. But again, that's just all speculation too. Anything that's, unless we're recording it and then have it on, on video nowadays, because even when I was growing in high school, that's the whole premise of what, the science believed that, that's trying to, that's their theory. That's more or less all science is theories unless you got, you can prove it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like as the internet says, it picks or it didn't happen, right? Let's see the proof. Let's see the proof of that. And you're right. It's all as I stated when we started the conversation when we first came on. It's the same thing with aliens, right? It's the exact same thing. Like science, always tries to frame us. And I get it, right? Because you need a reference point. But shit, man, like you can't expect aliens to look like us. You just can't. Sure, fine, maybe the Greys or whatever. But for crying out loud, I mean, there's got to be some really weird shit out there. And it wouldn't surprise me that maybe there's something out there that is eating stars. Maybe there's some sort of like gigantic, like unbelievably massive entity that's actually alive that's just eating these things. And who knows, right? Where did this come from? Has it been around for 1 billion years? Who the hell knows, man? That's how much we know about the universe. All that shit is possible.
Yeah, anything's possible. So that's why, I try to believe more into the human race than anything. I believe we're more, something's trying to like hold us down as a species, you know what I mean? As I'd say mentally, or some kind of, maybe, who knows, man, all this electrical bullshit that they're throwing in, that saying radar systems and all that shit, we're not used to that all, Well, our bodies at this time right now we do adjust. There's adjust to it, but there's a limit, man. And I don't know. Sometimes that seems to be that's why it's like the Earth. We could have peace, man, but there's other things in the mix it's hard to explain, man. And for me, I see, again, I go on to the whole galactic thing where I've been down many rabbit holes, and and the story still seems to be the same, even from ancient Anunnaki all the way down to supposedly these government people that used to work for the government, back in the 40s and 50s, and they're coming out and saying, they went into this one story was where this guy, he was working, he was under I think the Secretary of Defense or some shit. I can't remember the exact one, but they were going down and they said they were going to go have a UN meeting, but they were going underground. And when they got down there, he said, the whole forum and everything looked like, what you see on TV, where it was the UN. But in all actuality, there was 3 big ass seats in the middle of the stage. And then he said his story was that when when it all came attention, there was these 3 tall white alien beings. They were very tall, about 10, 11 feet. And they came out, and the shit didn't happen until they came around, sit down in their chairs, and then they listened to all the bitching and whining. But they were actually the ones. There was people saying, between war or whatnot. And then after he said, you seen all that? That changed his whole theory on, his whole thought about government and everything else. That, what the hell is really going on, That's some, that's, when you hear that, and then you hear, then you read stories, like I said, the first written of man that we know of, the oldest anyway, which is the, Sumerians, and they're telling you the exact same shit. They came down here and, they ruled the shit, Yeah. You might have visitors of other species and other planets came around throughout time, and, that's, of course, a possibility, but, I don't know, man. To me, but what's weird is, some scientists believe, if, they were looking into the aliens, like you're saying, why did they all, most of them, they were kind of peculiar about why they all, 2 arms, 2 legs. Why not look like, we had this conversation, why not look like, I don't know, like aliens or Predator or nothing that's got 50 million legs or some shit.
Like an octopus that flies through space, weirder though. You know what I mean? Think about it. We have an octopus in the ocean here on Earth. So why the hell would aliens not look weirder than that? I mean, come on. It just stands to reason, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, oxygen makes water would be, and I was looking into a crazy thing, now that we're off subject, but there was a peer review on when they were talking about with water. They've had doing these tests on water for about 80 years. And there's 2 cycles of water that they were saying that's pretty remarkable, that they didn't even know that was there. But I don't know, man. And throughout the universe too, hydrogen, well, of course hydrogen, but oxygen, but you add the 2 together, I don't know, man, it just brings life. You find that shit through everywhere.
Exactly. Everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's a crazy universe here. And I think that's really, I think that's where we're getting at. I'm sure it doesn't surprise you a single bit that we don't know everything there is to know about the universe. It doesn't surprise me even in the slightest. And so the fact that maybe stars just dip out, they're like, later guys, peace, right? Maybe that's a thing, Maybe it's a particular type of star that we've never even considered. Who the hell knows, man? And so, some people have said they're transiting objects, possibly. I don't know, dude. I'm with you. Like, it's a wide universe out there, and for us to even consider, and this is what Troubled Minds is about anyway. You know this. The joke is that humans and their human hubris, we think we know everything, right? We try to play God with everything, and well, all you have to do is look up. And there's proof right there. Proof is in the pudding. We don't know shit about anything. And there it is. There it is.
It's like waking up in the morning. I don't know when someone asks you a question. I don't know shit about shit. All right. But yeah, I mean, when you were getting to the point too, where that even our sun, who knows when this thing's going to blink out? And that's another reason. That's another reason why humans need to get into outer space. And move, because a star is only going to last for so long. And if you want to keep the human race perpetuating even through space, you're going to need to move to a different planet where newer star systems or at the, inhabitable zone that has been there for a minute. Yeah, you got life, vegetation. If we're doing all the probing and shit, that's what we should be doing because humans need to get into space. This ain't on the planet, yes, it can be saved, of course it can. It's just, but at the same time, the bigger picture, if the star dies out, everybody dies out. So yeah, we need to get to outer space.
Amen to that. And that's the craziest part. What if it's calming and stars blink out all the time? And what if, right, again, this is the thing, right? We're talking about the lifetime of a star. Just by taking one person that engaging the lifetime of a person doesn't mean all people live the same length of time, right? Doesn't mean they all pass away, expire the same way, right? There are all kinds of variables there. So to just take our star and extrapolate all the things we know onto all the stars in the rest of the universe, it seems flawed. It seems flawed. What can you do? What can you do, man?
I remember doing a science project one time, and it was talking about how long the life would last on the surface of the planet if the sun went out. I think it'd be less than 72 hours.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, because every plant, everything alive on the plant needs the sun. Everything survives off the sun. Everything, whole life grows off the sun. Yes, there's shit that grows in the dark, but that's that's a fungi. But we're talking like anything else, even the deepest darks of the oceans, yes, but still, even the water would need sun. Everything would need sun. If that thing blink out, we'd be dust in a matter of days.
Yeah. Night Stalker adds in the chat, really dark winter. There it is. There it is. There's the Great Reset, Kelly. The Great Reset's going to be the sun blinking out. It's going to wink at us. It's going to be a fucking wrap.
The long winter.
Winter is coming. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It is crazy that this is a real thing. And again, like I continue to say, I'll keep saying it. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that science doesn't have it all figured out. I'm just not. We're working with such a limited data set, and assuming a ton of things. And so here it is. Here it is. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anything else? What we got you on? We're running out of time here, but as you know, you're welcome to stay as long as you want.
I don't know, man. I was just wanting to give in. Like I said, I missed everybody's stuff earlier, but I just wanted to give some of my thoughts on that. Pretty interesting, though.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Fucking right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. You know us. Well, if something changes, we'll come back and revisit this.
All right, brother. You guys have a good evening.
Thanks a lot, Kelly. You too. You're the best. We'll talk to you later. Kelly in Colorado. Been calling for years, literally years on this show. I can right, like I can say that now, years. And he's been a large part of the Troubled Minds for a very long time. What's up, Mary? Mary's got some great calls here. I'm going to read some of this chat. Mary says Kali is coming. Uh Uh-oh. And hold on. Mary had a really great, let's see. Mary, let's see. Hold on. I'm going to go. Let's see. Pretty sure it's flat. What's that? Mike D for Life says pretty sure it's flat. There be dragons on the edge of the map. Let's see. Mary Cine Helena said something earlier that was amazing several times, but I'm going to find, let's see, one that caught, let's see. So here we go. So wonder if these sites are stars that are vanishing. Sinkholes, maybe. Ooh, interesting. Sinkholes, maybe. Now think of the universe as we know it in Einstein cosmology. All right, Einstein physics means that space-time has a curvature, and the stars, which are again gigantic things, have a ton of gravity. If it actually sits in that well of space-time, what if space-time itself can become weakened somehow and maybe cause a sinkhole? Where that star suddenly dips out into where? Where would it change to? Where would it go to? It would change universes, wouldn't it? It would be like it kind of dipping through a black hole into the whatever's on the other side. I don't know. Crazy stuff here. Amazing things to think about. Great stuff, Sherry, in the chat there. If you guys are not on Rockfin, you're missing out. Go. All the comedians are on Rockfin giving us a lot of good shit over there. Funny every single night. Robert says, the lack of a starry sky may just be because the silver particles put in the atmosphere to dim the sun also reflect away the starlight. Oh, God, I hope that's not the case. What's up, Daryl over there says, what if the other galaxies, when the sun is eternal and you never die, aging is dependent on how many rotations around the sun? What if you don't rotate? Oh, maybe time stops. What's up, Mary Cine Helena says, a mirror to our unconscious. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know. Earth is a mirror to heaven if it's our reflection. Good stuff. That's what we're talking about here. I have no idea. You guys know me. I'm not the answers guy. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. We're just going through the possibilities, asking some questions here, and considering that, as humans, we don't know shit about anything, do we? I think that's really the bottom line of what one of the major themes of this show is that we like to be able to say, oh, every 233,000 years or so, this kind of thing fucking happens on the Earth, but we don't really know. I mean, come on, we don't really know. I mean, come on, let's just say there's evidence to suggest. All right, there's evidence to suggest. But anyway, that's what we're talking about tonight. You guys know the drill. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. You out there, Jay? You ready for the J-Tro? Let's do this. Let's wrap this sucker up. There you go. Good stuff. Sherry says Ice Age coming for sure. I've heard that before. Remember, Gregory said that back in the day. Gregory, who used to join us on Facebook, but now Facebook is shut down. What's up, Sherry said that they're still promoting my show on Facebook. Is that right, Sherry? Is that really happening? It shouldn't be. I'm not doing anything over there. Interesting. Okay, so what we're doing is we're talking about the stars missing from the sky, and this is a real thing. In a survey of 1/10 of the visible universe from Earth, we have approximately between 700 and 800 missing stars since 1950. Since the 50s, all right? So they took images of the night sky back then, and they're comparing them to newer images today, and we have between 700 and 800 missing stars in less than 10% of the night sky, which means, again, simple math, means there may be 7,000 or 8,000 missing stars if it's spread equally all over the visible universe from us. So I don't know what the hell's going on here tonight. Thank you guys for all the great takes. Let's do the outro, the J-tro. Welcome, Jay in New York. Welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
I'm fantastic, Mike. I'm glad you made it back.
Nice, thank you. It is good to be home. I cannot deny that.
Wow, this was a great one today.
Thank you.
Millions and millions of thoughts on it, really. I mean, the Death Star going out there reminds me of that Stargate Universe show where they were using the ancient spaceships and they were refueling it with the stars. What if they just overloaded it and it's like, we're all going to these places and stuff like that. Swing by this star right here and pick this one up, and they burn it out, you know? I mean, the angels taken off because, you know, they had to go somewhere else. The one thing that makes me think about it is I'm looking at those stars the way that they are, you know, and there's depth there, you know. I noticed that in that one picture that you posted up there with the video with the first video, the YouTube video there, that the one star up to the upper left-hand corner was also dimmer in that picture. It just makes me wonder whether or not these things are in different planes. You know, this one's only 80,000 light years away from this one, and the rest of it behind it are 100,000 light years behind it. So they move faster, you know, just to keep it in scientific check.
Yeah, well, I think again, there's probably a lot of that at play here, meaning that from such a vast distance that, you know, there may be things that obscure these stars, right? Like maybe something is in transit between us and that star, and it's so many light years we can't detect it. That would make sense. But it would also make sense that we would be able to see something, maybe like an eclipse, right? Like the eclipse of the sun. Like we said, with the serpent eating its tail situation, you would expect to see the transit of that star being covered. But like Kelly said also, how the hell would you know unless you were like had a video on that star for 50 fucking years? How the hell would you know?
Well, I mean, absolutely. You know, I mean, that's the thing is like, you know, is there a new star in a quadrant 2 or 3 off to the northeast of that one, you know, 50 years later? I mean, cross-referencing all that material would take you forever, you know, and ever. I mean, 10%. They're saying they've only done 10% of it.
Yeah, 10% of the visible sky from Earth, yes.
And personally, I have noticed, I mean, I live in New York, so, I mean, we have the airplane traffic that pollutes our night sky, so we're not really allowed to look at the stars here. But I do notice that when I do see them, that all you really see are the navigational landmarks in the sky. You know, somebody said in the chat with the sextant and navigating the seas and all of that, is that why did they use those stars to make those navigational things? They didn't pick the one that burn out for whatever reason, you know. Have any of those burn out?
Like the North Star? Like the North Star? No.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously not the North Star, because like we can see that
prominent in the sky. Prominent stars in the sky.
Right. So we're just talking about little dinky ones there. Are they in some kind of a line?
I don't know. That's the thing. So I think you can pull the data, but I'm not sure without like a 3D representation, you're able to, you know, because the sky is so vast, the visible universe. Like Kelly had that good question. I don't know. I looked at the data itself, and it's data. So without like kind of, you know, like a hologram sort of situation from like the holodeck in Star Trek or some shit, it's really difficult to be able to say, yeah, you know, they're all from this quadrant of the sky sort of thing. So I don't have those answers, no.
You know, I remember teaching kids astronomy, you know, no, I don't want to say it, but like 30 years ago.
We're all getting old.
Well, I mean, you had the great big wheel, and it was 2 paper wheels, and one you spun a wheel to the time of the year that it was, and the other wheel was the stars for the time of the day. You had a kind of like a slide rule. You had to use them both together, so you could pick out the stars and everything else like that, and point them to, you know, out to the kids so they could get their merit badge. But, you know, you look at it as like, if one of those stars were missing, that, you know, they're staples, you know, that's, you know, Bailey. And we were having a conversation in one of the chats after hours one time and stuff like that. And she was saying something about how our father sailed from California to Hawaii with a sailboat using nothing but the stars. I mean, that's in a sailboat. That's quite a trip, you know. And I don't know, Mike. You know, we start talking about the stars and disappearing and stuff like that. You know, I mean, what is it? You know, is it, you know, the Death Star going in there like Kelly was talking about, you know, gobbling them up? All that crap that Night Stalker was putting in the Discord there with the demons and the, you know, dragons and stuff like that all come into it too, you know, eating them up just so they got enough energy to get to the next star when they're hungry, like a great white shark swimming through the ocean, leaving one seal be and picking the other one out. Well, I just ate today. I'm not hungry.
I'm not hungry. Yeah. The crazy thing, here's another one too. Here's another theory that just developed in the chat. Matt says this. What's up, Matt in California says, so the stars could already be gone and their light is still reaching us. And so I said, all the stars are gone and we're finding out slowly. Oh shit!
But then there would be new ones, right? I mean, in the nebula thing and stuff like that. I mean, the 5-year-old is really getting interested into space, and we brought him one of those planetariums. You know, so it's always evolving. Space is always, you know, it becomes this, and then it becomes that, and then it moves on to the other thing. You know, it's got 36 slides that we can put into his planetarium. We have to have a conversation about them each night. But the thing is, we look at those things. It's like, did it just move on to something else? Like the angel theory, you know, did they have to go somewhere else to help out? Did they have to, you know, make themselves into a nebula or something like that we really can't see because it's that far away?
Yeah. There we go. Penny says space is fake. The projector broke. That's all. I love it.
Someone sneezed on the slide.
or like Robert.
Now there's a whole crap load more stars.
Yeah.
It could always be the aliens poking the holes in our lid to make sure that we got enough air so we don't die. You know,
there you go.
One of the funny memes that go around.
Yeah, somebody said they just need to clean the dome off. That's all. The firmament. Somebody needs to take Windex to the firmament. All kinds.
Here's a crazy one for algorithm. If he's still listening, is that all the LED lights and everything else that we're putting up on our street poles and stuff like that, they're just radiating energy, so we can't see them anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
so that exists. That's for real, because I've seen that in parts of the city here, right, where you have those neon lights or whatever the hell they are, those LEDs, and it washes out the sky. I think that's part of what's happening with like our perception of vanishing stars, kind of in cities. But I also think that like this is not that at all. We're talking about space surveys, right? So two completely separate things, but it still kind of results in a similar fashion to us on Earth, right? We're looking up and going, where the fuck are the stars? Like things don't look like.
Could it be the satellites and Elon Musk's, you know, Neuralink, you know, up there with his, what is the internet thing that he's got up there now? Can't remember.
Starlink.
So his Starlink satellites up there aren't blocking some of the view, you know.
Hey, Jay.
Gates wanting to put his little mirror things up there in the sky that are reflecting the sun so we don't have, you know, global warming or messing with the radio telescopes that are taking these pictures.
Yeah, for real.
You know, how much has gone on in the last 50 years from when we started taking those pictures to now?
Well, exactly. And that's part of it. And like Kelly was saying, it's so vast. The sky is so vast, it's impossible to know. So AI has done its thing, right? They fed the data in and it's kind of compared and done all the things, but they still need to verify all of it. So wouldn't it make people shit their pants tomorrow if they extrapolated the data from just the AI and said, oh, by the way, guys, since 1950, 10,000 stars have gone missing from the sky. 10,000, right? Well,
that would be nuts.
That would be nuts. That would be nuts. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It would ask a whole lot more questions. You know, why? Where'd they go? What happened? You know, Actually, we finally asked a question that didn't have to involve money.
Did we?
I think so. Unless it's the aliens going out there and harvesting the stars to make money.
What was it? Have a good night, guys. Everybody's dipping out here and there. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. I know it's a long show. It is intentionally, so we can include you. That's part of the whole thing here. Like I said, together we're better. So thank you, guys. Not everybody's leaving, but yeah, I don't know, Jay. If you got to pin this down to one thing, what would you say? If you got to say, you know what? I think it's probably this. What do you think it is?
Oh, jeez. It's the aliens using the stars for power.
I like that.
They just ran the gas station dry.
I like that one. I like that.
They built a Death Star, and it takes a whole star to get it to the next galaxy that they want to destroy because they haven't joined yet. That's my theory.
All right, I like that theory. I like that one. There's a lot of good ones. I like the angels. The angels in the heavens have been losing the fight, and so they're dipping out. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. Lots of good stuff here, man. And as you know, this is a conversation we'll continue as more of this stuff comes out. We've been looking at the fast radio bursts and things like this. As that science develops and they learn more, we'll talk about it then too. So we're in no hurry here. What's up, Penny Bunny? Everybody follow the Curious Bunny on YouTube. Got to run. Just starting a little live stream while I'm on a night shift. Right on. Oh, there you go. When we're done, Penny Bunny, the Curious Bunny, starting a live stream. There it is. We could stack them up. James just did one before us. We did it now. Penny Bunny's next. Go get him, Penny. Go get him.
I won something, she says.
You won something?
I got some tea.
You got some tea?
You won some Snoopy tea.
Some Snoopy tea. All right.
Yeah. Sounds
fantastic to me. Sounds very, very good. All right, let's wrap this. You got a quote for us, Jay? What's up, Liam Martin? I see you there. The famous Liam Martin, by the way. Liam Martin has his own podcast. I'll share you the link as soon as I get it. He also did the here. I'm going to play this just for a little bit. The famous Liam Martin shows up. This is his little mashup. Hang tight, Jay, for just a moment. I think it's important to point out Liam Martin one more time. He made this. We are talking about alien, the alien abduction.
The aliens are looking through your eyes and they're accessing your optic nerve. I'm doing that. Through that optic nerve, they're transferring to your brain.
All right, I think that's enough of that. You guys, you hear it when we go back to the top of the hour. That was sent to us by our good friend Liam Martin. Thanks again. I want to make sure to give people the love that help us out with the show. So it's important. There you go. Go ahead, Jay. Let's do the outro. What kind of music you want, man? You want something a little more stark? You want something a little more peppy? You want something? What do you want, man? What's on your mind tonight?
I don't know if I know what stark means.
Like the end of the world's coming.
How dare you?
No, we don't want that.
No, we don't want that. We totally don't want that.
We want the opposite of that.
Okay, the opposite of that. Let's see. I think we got some of that. What do we got here? How about what is that? Let's see. I think we got this. Let's try this. All right. Music's playing. You're up, sir.
If there were no night, we would not appreciate the day, nor would we see the stars and the vastness of the heavens. We must partake in the bitter with the sweet. There is divine purpose in the adversaries we encounter every day. They prepare, they purge, they purify, and thus they bless. James E. Faust.
Fantastic. As above, so below. Without the dark, we cannot appreciate the light. And here we are, trying to bring the light to a universe that seems ever darkening as the stars blink out in plain view of the world and everybody. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Don't worry, I'm not a doom preacher. I don't believe that the world is ending. I think we're good here. I think that as long as we keep punching with our consciousness up, I think we're in a good spot. Thanks again. Take back the night. What's up, Night Stalker? Hell yes. That's what this is all about. Thanks again, guys. You guys know the drill. We'll be back tomorrow night. More Troubled Minds, 7 p.m. Pacific. Spread the word, please. If you want to support the show, Rock Fan, you can sub up there. We still got the Patreon up. They take like 30%, and that fucking sucks. So if you want to support the show, Rock Fan's the best way. You can buy some merch. You can find all that stuff down below in the links. If you got requests, whatever, you guys let us know. Show requests, you want to be on the show as a co-host, you're always invited. Let us know. Let's schedule something. I'm talking to you out there. So if you can hear me, I'm talking to you. Also, the phone number is persistent. If you're listening to this on the podcast feed and you want to give us your take on maybe dragons eating the sun, call us. Leave us a message. We'll play it on a future show. I get people leaving me voicemails that are pretty good stuff. So I'll play them when they're relevant, and maybe we should just play them anyway. But definitely good stuff. 702-957-1037. Send us your thoughts on this show, feedback, anything else. If you just want to say hi. We know everybody can't catch us live, and so an archive is an archive. It's our way of time traveling. The Troubled Minds time travel is you listening to an archive. So thank you. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much for spending time with us. Like I always say, you could be doing a million things right now, but you're here instead. How do I do the heart thing? There you go. I don't think I can do it. Can I do it? I can't do it. There we go. Hearts go out to all you guys. Celestial hearts to each and every one of you. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. Let them have it, Jay.
Oh, the whoa.
Ow! See you guys tomorrow.
The full moon's over. I'm not as good at it.
Full moon's over. We'll also be in the Discord hanging out. If you guys want to come chat it up, we'll be there. I've got some work to do yet, a couple hours after the show, cutting up podcasts and doing all these other things. So we usually hang out a little bit. So join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get your ass in here. Thanks again. You guys are all the best. Thanks, Jay, for hanging out. Thanks for staying up so late with us. Talk to you guys soon.